kuna mambo mawili matatu pale nimebadilisha, mengine nikatoa, nikaongeza mengine nika replace, you know what I mean? Yeah, so the routine has changed a little bit.
Should I let my imagination go to work?
Oh yeah, sure, why not? Right. I mean, it's a free country, free mind, free world, you know, just enjoy your
story, free world, free mind guy.
Yeah, sawa. Unless of course North Korea kidogo hapo
pale freedom iko nyingi bro.
Uko sure?
Positive.
Okay. Juice jakuwa huko, sitasema mengi.
Hata msienda huko. Lakini nitasema mengi.
Okay.
Yes.
Sababu kile nimeona na kile nimesoma, kile nimesikia tofauti kidogo.
Am I imagining it was this studio hot?
It depends. You know, I don't have a sweater on. You have a jacket.
Chief.
You have a jacket, City. So even if it was cold, you'd still be feeling warm.
You think?
But if you're asking if it's cold, it's not cold. That
this
for sure.
This jacket is not a jacket for keeping warm, bro. And I keep informing you, this is not a jacket. It's a document carrier. I
agree. It's part of your costume.
Yes.
I would have said uniform, but it's more of a costume for you. It's what brings your performance.
So you have given this particular garment life.
Yes, okay? I have. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've animated it, eh?
Yes, actually I have.
You have, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
It is what it is.
As you keep saying. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
English means it is what it is.
It is actually what it is.
But in Americanese, it is what it is.
All right. So it is what it is. So what is so interesting about today in history? So you know, let's see a couple of the things that the world is celebrating today, being the 3rd of September. No, October, sorry.
No. Thank you.
Yes, October. Umesema April. Ni October 2023.
When did I even mention a month in this brief conversation we've had?
Umesema April saizi.
It is good when people hear things early in the morning. Please continue.
No, but akisitu umesema April. Walai.
In what context?
Mimi nimesikia April.
That's what I said. What you hear has very little to do with what I have said. You come here hearing your own things, and then you continue hearing your own things. Then all of a sudden, I'm the one who said it, and it's you who's doing the hearing. Surely, Paul.
It's a trick I learned somewhere, whereby you turn the tables on someone and you start blaming them, and then kidogo tonoksa and start looking at the other person as being the crazy one. So it's more less. It's gaslighting. For
what on earth is gaslighting?
So gaslighting is when someone makes you think that your reality is either distorted or unreal.
And within that conversation, is there a possibility that what they're telling you is actually true?
No, it's actually never true. That's the whole idea of gaslighting. So for example,
who determines whether it's true or not?
It's a fact that it's not
if
true.
I tell you something and you're unwilling to accept it, but it's something I see, and you tell me,
then that wouldn't be gaslighting. That would be the truth.
No,
that would be a fact.
It can be, because if you don't believe that what I'm telling you is true, as far as you're concerned, I'll be gaslighting you.
See, if for example you start believing, how can I, that whole issue of October or April. So for example, I insist and I even tell you, you told me it's April because you told me it's April 14th and that is your birthday. And for me, you're like, wait a minute, is this guy for real? And I tell you things to actually make you convinced that you said it is 14th April, your birthday.
Theoretically, what you're saying makes sense, but I am thinking that everything to do with gaslighting has to do with the person who feels they're being gaslit.
It has got everything to do with the two parties, the gaslighter and the one who's been gaslit.
The person who determines the gaslighting, unless I know I am gaslighting you, and it's deliberate. But as I said, I prefaced it by saying, if I tell you something that I've observed about you, and it's something you're either uncomfortable though you do not wish to face, you can tell me I'm gaslighting you, and yet I am not. It is just, I am simply relaying to you what I have observed over time.
But now you see that wouldn't be gaslighting, because you wouldn't be deceiving me into believing a reality that doesn't exist.
But if you are unwilling to believe it, then I am gaslighting you. That's really my point. Because you will feel you're being gaslit.
Well, yes, I would feel that I'm being gaslit, but the reality of the situation is the fact that I'm not being gaslit, but I believe I'm being gaslit. So yes, in that respect, perhaps then I would say that I'm being gaslit.
All right, gaslighter.
All right.
What is the world celebrating today?
Today, that day that is called that of October 1952, Kenya's Mau Mau rebellion escalated dramatically as a state of emergency was declared by the British colonial government, leading to mass arrests of key leaders like Jomo Kenyatta. Also, on October 3rd, 1991, police arrested several prominent opposition politicians and supporters, including Gitobu Imanyara and Oginga Odinga, on the eve of a banned political rally, intensifying political tensions and government crackdowns. So, two events in Kenya that are very significant. 3rd October 1952, Kenya's Mau Mau rebellion escalated dramatically. And then the state of emergency was declared. And then 3rd October 1991, that is a couple of decades later, police arrested several prominent opposition leaders, including Gitobu and Odinga.
We were in a one-party state then. And the agitation for multi-partyism was beginning to pick up. At that point in time, nobody thought that just a few years down the line, 8 to be precise, that whole thing would change.
Eight years down after 1991.
Yes.
Okay.
That an opportunity would arise, and all that you are seeing would have changed. But actually, why I'm talking about 8 years in 1997. 1997, we had an election.
Yes.
And that is the first time in a long time we had a multi-party election. Okay. But the repealing of Section 2A was a few years earlier, around 1994.
Yes.
And it meant that officially we were a multi-party state. Okay. Then we had the first election. Very many things moved very quickly after that.
Yes.
Because immediately that happened, we had an election. One, Raila Odinga stood for election and became third. The following year,
he was number 3.
Number 3.
Who was number 2?
I think it was Moi Kibaki.
Okay.
Number 1 was Daniel Arap Moi.
Baba na mama wa Daiva.
Yes. Then,
yes,
when we got to the following year, the party that Raila had, I think it was called NDP, they joined KANU.
National Democratic Party.
Yes.
They joined KANU.
They joined KANU. And Raila Odinga became Secretary General of KANU. A few years down the line, 5 years to be precise,
yes,
when we went to an election, just before the election,
right,
Raila left KANU. And he left with all the luminaries that KANU had known. Saitoti, Kalonzo, Nani. The person who remained there was, I think it was Uhuru and Musalia Mudavadi.
Yeah.
The people who remained in KANU. And in the year 2002, that was the next election.
Yes.
Moi had served 2 terms.
Yes.
Moi did not contest. Uhuru contested as a KANU candidate.
And he lost to Kibaki.
Yes. And that Kibaki win was one of the biggest wins that we had ever seen in any presidential election.
I actually remember when that time he was a presidential candidate, when Uhuru conceded the defeat. Yeah. But he had been elected to parliament at that particular time. No, he wasn't?
Uhuru's ascendancy to parliament had been nominations. Yes.
And then there's a time he was finance minister in Kibaki's government.
Yes, he was.
When the famous typing error,
10.
Yes.
Kuna kaziro.
It's
sort of like Mr. Corridor should have been walking in and meandered into the accounts department.
Akauliza, hey, what's up with this situation? You said it was a typing error. And I remember that time it was a very huge headline all over the country.
Because the amount itself was huge.
Yes, okay. Yes.
And not only was he was also an assistant. No, that was when we had the government of the major handshake. It was the first handshake we had. We had a situation where we had a prime minister.
Yes.
We had a president. We had a vice president, and there were 2 deputy prime ministers. It was an interesting time, though.
Oh yes, we had 2 DPs, deputy prime. Yeah, I mean, hey. I also remember that time when Uhuru was still finance minister, and he introduced Volkswagen Passats as official government vehicle, and he said no more fuel guzzlers.
Those cars were a disaster.
They were the Passats.
They were a disaster.
How so?
The Mercedes-Benz is not just a brand name. It's a very hardy vehicle. Very, very, very hardy vehicle. His intentions, well, let's say we capped the capacity of the engine to 2000 cc.
Yes.
And the Passat offered that. Now, I myself have driven a Passat for a long time, so I'm familiar with the vehicle.
Okay.
Lovely vehicle.
All right.
Very comfortable. Very fast. It is not as firm. It is not as rigorous. This is not advertising for Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. You're just stating facts.
Yes, because I've driven both vehicles. So
you're not gaslighting the audience.
No. I'm talking about my own personal experience.
Yes.
With both vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay. Government work requires rigor because you go everywhere with that car.
Yeah.
That isn't a car for going everywhere. So long as you're driving around town, you're good.
Well, he introduced it, but let's be honest, CT, for government ministers, for example, most of the times they're in town. And when they're going out of town...
No, that's where you're wrong.
When?
They are not in town most of the time, but go on.
When they are going out of town, that's when they'll probably take a flight to Mombasa, Malindi, God knows where else. But if they're going mashinani, where now the projects are, where they're inspecting projects, where the roads are rough and they shouldn't be, by the way, maybe that's when they will need an SUV.
No.
So is it why shouldn't, like, the Ministry of Health, for instance, because our pia mashinani sana, they can have a couple of SUVs, but for their daily rounds in the city,
they actually do.
For their daily rounds in the city, they honestly don't need that guzzler.
I'm trying to explain to you that Mercedes-Benz also has vehicles that have a 2000 cc capacity. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That whole thing, the thinking behind trying to...
The Passat is cheaper than the 200cc. 200cc ya Volkswagen na 200cc ya Mercedes. Of course, Mercedes itakuwa more expensive.
Bear in mind that when you buy cars for government at that point in time, they were duty-free. So this expense you're speaking of isn't really a factor.
Either way.
And then we buy them in bulk. So it's not as though they're going to cost what it would cost you if you went to buy it. My point was a simple one. The experiment, we understand, was to demonstrate, okay? And a consciousness for saving the taxpayer money.
Yeah. But
that vehicle is not as hardy as
okay.
Yes.
Sawa.
It is really quite simple.
Right.
It's a lovely vehicle.
And what about what they drive nowadays? The very expensive SUVs from Japan, the Toyotas. Yeah.
Those are proven tough. Those are tough vehicles. Proven.
Yes.
I mean, they are built for that terrain.
For that terrain, yes. However, what I'm saying is we reverted back. I don't know at what point that whole law, if it was a law or regulation, of use the Passats.
Look,
it just fizzled at one point.
It did fizzle, like with every new idea. But just so that you understand, there was a time in the Moi era when someone decided that the police force needed to buy certain vehicles from India called Mahindra.
Now, I remember actually, they still use them.
My personal opinion is I could walk faster than that vehicle.
Mahindra.
I could outrun it. So I wonder, why did you chase a thief with that car? Why don't you just disembark and run out of the thief yourself? Now, I am actually making fun of the vehicle.
Right.
Bro, those vehicles were slow.
Okay.
Hardy-ish.
But slow.
Yeah, I mean, it was like someone was experimenting with certain vehicles, right? But in that era is where we had situations where you call the police and they tell you, it's very good, we've heard you, but we don't have fuel.
Yeah.
There was no M-Pesa. And the thieves at your house.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do?
You just chill for them to finish their business and bounce.
Yes. In fact, you might as well open the door and say, guys, don't break anything.
Yeah.
Let me just direct you.
Yes. Munataka nini?
Because you came here and somebody told you, what is that you want? So let me direct you to it.
TV ndio ile.
Okay.
It's quite obvious. Na radio
and that's a music system. Na plug iko pale.
Yeah. Kitchen, there's a fridge, microwave. What else?
Yes. Safe, I don't have a safe, but I have a drawer. And several, in fact.
Right.
You don't have money. Yes, the money is actually in this drawer. Yes.
So are we good? Don't harm anyone. Take what you need.
Yes. And when your next coming, just give me advance warning. So we will prepare supper for you.
Oh my goodness. As you give us our methali, there's actually a time we were robbed and they ate the food in our thermal flasks. Tulikuwa tumeweka hapo fadha yako amekula, tulikuwa tumemwekea kuku, kulikuwa na chapati, kulikuwa na cabbage pale.
Walifika, which means they had time.
Oh yeah.
But you did not wake up, did you?
No, we had to barricade ourselves in one bedroom. So we all went into my parents' bedroom, barricaded, then they ransacked the whole house. Because we could hear them breaking into the
thieves, in my opinion, have to be informed about what they're coming to steal. It's not guesswork.
Of course, they knew, and we in the area where we lived, we were sisi ndo tulikuanga wale the 1% in that particular area, so they knew hile nyumba haiwezi kosa fridge, TV, radio, and other electronics.
So this was what did they leave? Because clearly they had time to take everything.
They took all electronics for sure, and then including our phones, and yeah, that's it actually. And then the food they ate, that's it.
They didn't harm anybody?
No, they didn't. By the time they were breaking the door, we had them. So we all ran into one room, tukafunga, tukawachia the rest of the house.
Those were professionals. Because one reads of people who actually harm you. They want to rob you, but they also want to harm you. And you're thinking, surely, I mean, can you make up your mind? Do you want to rob me or do you want to harm me?
Wezi wa kitambo hawako hivyo. Wa siku hizi ndio wako hivyo. You see them walking with machetes and guns and so on and so forth.
There's also a story in town, this particular town, of young men who walk with knives.
Yeah.
I'm repeating this story because I mentioned it yesterday. My Uber guy was telling me that they stop you, they want money, and they're knifing you, and I'm thinking, what?
Yeah.
So I even asked him, why knife you? So that you can hurry up and give them what they want.
Yes.
So what if you die? Then what happens?
Yeah. Wakitambo walikuwa wanakuambia tu lala chini, they do what they're doing, they bounce. Wa siku hizi, different breed.
And then there are those who argue that they're under some intoxication of some sort.
For sure.
So they are not in the right mind.
Oh yeah.
But they will harm you. There was a gang in Mombasa, the Kisauni area. These coat hangers that are made of is it aluminium, whatever it is that are made of?
The wire.
The wire. They would straighten it and sharpen it. So when you wouldn't know, you're walking towards them, they actually stab you with it in this region. You know, that's where your lungs are.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't move. And I ask, why do you want to kill somebody to rob them?
Weh? Crazy.
Then there was a time, guys, they would even be in town stabbing people. But those are that was a time when there's a proliferation of drugs.
Yeah.
And somehow very many young fellows were simply going crazy.
Right.
One doesn't hear of it now, which means the security forces did whatever they need to do to calm that situation down. But even as we calm it down, we must always ask, why do these things?
Yeah.
Where do they come from?
True.
Yes.
Good question. Medali tupeleka bado tuko archipelago.
Shatoka huko. Kwa mahali tunaenda inaitwa Cape Verde.
Cape Verde.
Yes. Cape Verde is a very interesting place. Very interesting. I'll tell you about it on Monday because there are 3 more. I'm going to talk to you about some of some important people who've come from Cape Verde. You'll be amazed. Since you're a football buff, I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
There's a very famous, in fact I might as well tell you. Remember there was an Arsenal player by the name of Vieira?
Vieira, yes. Vieira, yeah.
Patrice, I think was his name, Vieira?
Right, yes, Patrice Vieira.
Kwao.
Cape Verde.
Okay. Kwao hiyo huko. So there are other individuals who come from that particular island. So are those places where there are more citizens of that country outside the country than inside the country. Amazing, isn't it?
It is actually amazing.
We'll talk more about it. In fact, from Monday,
to focus on Cape Verde.
We will. And also, I'll be moving forward swiftly. Every time we have this chat about proverbs from a country, I'll tell you a little bit more about the country so you know about it.
Okay.
So,
Asanta.
Right. The bat hangs upside down. No, that's me. It's they have not written upside down. That's me.
Okay, let's
so let me read what they said.
Okay.
The bat hangs downwards because of the words told to it by the sun. I actually like this proverb.
The bat hangs downwards because
of the words told to it by the sun.
Okay. I'm trying to think about what that means.
When do bats come out to play?
At night.
Is there any sun then?
No.
Right.
So kuna kitu wanajua hatujui.
Inaonekana hivyo kwa sababu I've seen bats in the daytime, but they're really very few.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a proverb. Figure out why are we referring to its nocturnal activities as something that has to do with what the sun told it or them. That's the juicy part of the proverb.
Okay.
Try and figure it out. Yes.
I'll think about it.
That's about it. Yes, when Lego think about it.
Big shout out to Maureen Kinyanjui, starting my day right with the best dynamic duo on the airwaves. Thanks, Maureen. Ricardo Marrera anasema good morning Kings and Queens, Kitengela iko locked. Let's check out our first story on rgk.co.ke. Robert Mugabe's son appears in court on drug possession charges.
Dear.
Oh, yes. Robert Mugabe Jr., the son of Zimbabwe's late former president, appeared in a Harare court on Thursday facing a charge of drug possession. The 33-year-old was arrested on Wednesday morning after allegedly driving the wrong way down a one-way street. Court documents show prompting police to search a black sling bag he was carrying. Officers claim they found 2 small sachets of cannabis inside. Police said in a statement that 5 other people connected to a syndicate linked to him were also arrested. On these individuals, authorities reportedly recovered 25 sachets of marijuana and 6 ecstasy pills. Police said investigations into the matter are ongoing. So Mugabe Jr.'s lawyer Ashiel Mugia told the BBC that they intend to deny the charges and questioned the accuracy of the police's claims. Oya. Sasa. Surely. Okay, I'm not condoning the fact that he was driving on the wrong side of the road. But this other issue of mumemshika na cannabis, the law of the country is the law.
No. Mmesema mmemshika na cannabis.
Mmesema mmemshika na yeye anasema hiyo ni uongo. Hakuanga na drugs zozote because according to the law amesema they are intending to deny the charges.
So
perhaps even including the driving on the wrong side.
Well, if they have CCTVs on the roads, that should not be difficult to prove.
Yes. Because they're saying they intend to deny the charges and question the accuracy of the police's claims. So mnasema mlishika wa client wapi, barabara gani? Kenyatta Avenue, okay. On which side exactly? That side. So you arrested him, okay. So it was a traffic offense. All right, good. So what prompted you to search his bag? Did you know who you arrested? Yes. You know this is the former president's son. Yes, okay. So at what point did you think it's important to search his bag, his sling bag?
Do they allow you to actually search the bag without a warrant, or as a police person you have all permissions to do whatever it is you want?
To be honest, we see that in Kenya. I mean, sorry, in the movies.
No, of course we see it in the movies. I'm simply asking because I do not know the laws of that particular country.
Oh yeah.
But I'm playing devil's advocate. This is a question which will be asked.
So, true. Yeah.
So what is it?
Was there a warrant?
Yes.
Was there a reason to believe that perhaps there was something in that bag and that's why you searched it?
Yes. Did you search the boot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say something that made you?
Okay. Did you have a sniffer? I mean, you've opened a Pandora box of questions. All these things, and then the last go. Our laws say.
So pia tunaweza uliza hapa Karana anasema could smell cannabis on him. So you know how cannabis smells.
How did you arrive at this?
Yeah. How does it smell? Can you let us know?
Unajua hii ni bank.
Unasikia tu your honor bwana, these people are being malicious with my client.
Yes. Watuambie why they arrested this fellow.
And if things play out like they play out in the majority of Africa, money exchanges hands, someone walks free.
But money doesn't even need to exchange hands. You see, this is now where if indeed the police, he was driving on the wrong side of the road and the police officers were doing their duty.
Yep.
Either because they'd been tipped off or because they knew or because this fellow may have priors. There's so many other reasons. This is where now you will now determine the strength of the constitution and the laws of that country.
Right.
And how the citizenry rather relate to those laws.
Wacha sasa nifikirie kama Mwafrika for 2 seconds.
Even 3.
Yeah, okay. A minute, yeah? 60 seconds, good. So zile za you've arrested me, when he doesn't know how to talk to afande. Zile za afande bana, unajua manzejo, okay fine, nime drive on the wrong side. Ni venye manzejo unakimbia hospitali, manzejo demu yangu anajifungua bana. Afande. Ama afande, manze nimechelewa nisipofika kazini manze juu mdosi atanifuta kazi afande. Cheki, shika hii for inconvenience na kubaya lunch. Sawa afande. Sawa. Mugabe Junior ajue lugha. Ama alijua lakini wakasema aya kipito ukuja uone tumekamata nani huyu anasema leo tagula unono tupelekee OCS na former KDF officers alleges unfair dismissal and claims 1.5 million benefits. Ni noma. A former Kenya Defence Forces officer has accused the military of unfairly dismissing him and withholding 1.5 million in terminal benefits, saying his 2018 dismissal was unjust and his repeated requests for compensation were ignored, or his repeated requests for compensation were ignored. Tony Soyamwok, a former Navy officer, appeared on Thursday before the National Assembly's Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, explaining that he was wrongly reported as absent without leave while hospitalized. So how is it that you can be in hospital, and I'm sure your colleagues probably knew that you were in hospital, if indeed you were in hospital, but the service declares you absent without leave? That is AWOL.
That is not difficult to prove because the hospitals that
has records.
Not only that, this
right.
If you're a serving member of our military, you'll go to a military hospital. So that is not difficult to prove. That's where you went. If you went to a private hospital, again, the thing about the disciplined forces is that they're very big on details and order. So this is not something that's going to be difficult to prove.
So
either which way.
Yeah. So Mok told the committee chaired by Belgut MP Nelson Koech that he was admitted to the Defence Forces Memorial Hospital in 2018, but was still listed as absent without official leave for 19 days. So you're right. He was at the Defence Forces Memorial Hospital.
Yeah.
So Ukopale, isn't there a protocol for the hospital also to report and say Cadet CT, for instance, is here with us and this is what we are treating him for?
In Nairobi, there's a hospital on Bagathi Way, on the biggest. There's one on Wayaki Way.
Right.
If you go to Nakuru, you'll find something similar. I'm simply saying the documentation of whatever it is that is being claimed is there. It's not this is not a difficult case unless there are things about this case that have not been reported, but which will probably come to light later on. Yes.
Where? So Committee Vice Chairperson Mandera North MP Bashir Abdullahi noted that under the Kenya Defence Forces Act of 2012, reinstatement of a dismissed officer can only be considered 3 years after dismissal and following a successful review. So huyu ni kama hatarudi, but they can pay him his dues because kama hii story ilifanyika 2018 and we are in 2025, that is what, 7 years later, kidogo kurudi job itakuwa tricky. Yeah. Anyway, Koech assured Mwok that the committee would engage the Ministry of Defense to investigate the allegations, particularly regarding the reported non-payment of dues and the welfare of serving and retired officers. That's quite a sad situation. Hey, 7 years later, you're still following up on justice, man.
Well, you see, the thing is, this is the military. I am not very conversant with the rules and regulations of how the military functions. But I will tell you this.
Yes.
There are rules and regulations, and they also tend to be fairly clear.
Yes.
Yes.
I just don't understand how it has taken this long to determine whether indeed he was absent without leave or he was dismissed irregularly.
If indeed what you're saying is true, and there was someone involved, because someone documented that he was away without leave.
Yes.
Okay? That person, if they're there, and indeed he misreported, do you really, because it's his neck on the dock here.
Yeah.
He's the one who erroneously documented something. He will definitely...
the patient now.
Yes, he will definitely fight it. Maybe he reported this to the person he reports to. Maybe that person did not do whatever they need to do. These things, the options as to why this thing has taken time may not be difficult to understand. Whether we'll get to learn them, well, that is a factor of how this particular case proceeds.
Yeah.
Is it not?
And as, yes, you've mentioned, CCC, my expert, kwa mambo ya jeshi na their legal proceedings. But I would like...
Na pia watu wa jeshi hawakujagi talk show.
Unfortunately. But mtu wa jeshi anaweza tupigia simu anonymously na tuambie. Because I'm assuming, even if today, for example, today I'm absent without leave here at Radio Generation, mdosi atakupigia kuulize city. Umeongea na yule
jamaa bwana.
Umeongea na Mbuvi. Atapigia Brian Odor, huyo jamaa wa Retrobox.
Yes.
When is the last time you spoke to Mbuvi? Aseme, let me try calling him. I even know his wife's number. Let me call his wife. Apigia wife, aseme jamaa ako hapa. Ama by the time mimi sijamuona tangu last week. I'm sure there must have been some kind of follow up before you declare someone AWOL.
No, before you declare AWOL, there's a process. You can't be AWOL because you've been absent for a day.
Yes.
So, There are people listening who understand these rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Perhaps they could just inform us that we know, and we can inform
And I'm sure even
our listeners as to how these processes are.
I'm even sure in his HR file there's a next of kin that they could have called and say, niaje huyu jamaa kwa wapi? So by the time you declared, well, kidogo ni tricky. Lakini anyway, like tumesema, watatuna venye story itafanyika. Right now though, I want to give you the traffic update, so like we can keep you moving. Let's see what's happening. Traffic. Real quick, kama kawaida, it's now 6:32 in the AM. Not much to report really as far as traffic is concerned. But if you're along Ring Road, Kilimani, joining Ngong Road, a little bit of traffic there because of the obvious fact that it's a T-junction, so everyone is joining from every direction. We also go back up a little bit towards Naivasha Road, a little bit of traffic there. Well, Naivasha Road mali inapatana na Ngong Road, hapo kuna shida kidogo. And then of course as you're also getting onto Junction Mall roundabout, there's a little bit of something there. Then the entire Ngong Road looks good after that, all the way hadi wapi, hadi upper Nairobi Funeral Home roundabout, also a little bit of traffic because of the roundabout. And then after that, you guys are moving well. Haile Selassie, no complaints whatsoever. But there's a red line here. Let me see, what's the name of this road now? It's along the Kenya School of Credit Management, Green Park Terminal Railway hapo hiyo barabara. Sijui inaitwa J-Star wadanganya. But yes, as you're joining Uhuru Highway, a little bit of traffic there. No, Haile Selassie is clearly labeled here.
Ngong Road.
No, it's not Ngong Road. It's actually parallel to Haile Selassie somehow. It's a curve parallel to. Yeah.
So
yes, as you're heading towards Wayaki Way, but it's looking red right now with a few spots of yellow, so that means you guys are moving nonetheless. Mombasa Road, absolutely no complaint coming from there. Wayaki Way also hamna shida yoyote, but mkiona kitu maybe that is not represented on this map, you can let me know and I'll definitely let the entire world know. Traffic on radio generation. Let's check out what's happening on the papers this particular morning. Front page of the Standard, cocaine highway, marked as a model of aviation security. JKIA now stands exposed as a soft underbelly in the global drugs trade.
Okay, how many cases of that nature have been reported? You can't have one case.
Yep.
And then you say the underbelly. One case, one.
But is it one though? Because I haven't read the entire story.
Well, then we will talk about it when we look at the details later.
Okay.
Won't we?
All right. And then where is Raila? Speculations rife that former Prime Minister taken ill, but close associates insist that their party boss is in perfect health. So he's on page 6. Justice delayed, burial denied. Tycoon's son still in morgue. Stories on page 2. This is a story about the body of Luka Korir, the son of the Eldoret tycoon who was... Eldoret tycoon has lain at the 810 County Referral Hospital mortuary for 9 months as his family remains locked in a bitter feud over where he should be buried. Korir, who died on January 14th this year, was the son of Francis Kimoso, who also is deceased, a landowner with hundreds of acres spread across Uasin Gishu and Elgeyo Marakwet counties. But what should have been a solemn farewell has turned into courtroom drama as Kimoso's children battle over land rights, inheritance, and the final resting place of their brother. Stories on page 2. MPs probe 34 acres prisons land owned by individuals. Story is on page 8. Pale juu kabisa on siasa, the opposition cannot govern and make empty promises to Kenyans. Page 11. And then baptism of fire. Matiang'i options narrow as former CS faces brutal politics. Story is on page 4 and 5. Over to you, CT.
Let's look at the Business Daily. Kenya is in early redemption of 129 billion euro bond. Kenya has launched a buyback of the 129.23 billion Kenyan shilling. That's 1 billion shillings, dollars rather, of a 10-year euro bond that is due to mature in February 2028. Okay. Standard Chartered retirees seek UK regulators' help in pensions row. A group of former Standard Chartered employees have asked the UK's financial services regulator, to act on their claims for past undervalued pensions. Yani pensions ifiti na ile ambayo tunapewa sifiti. We would like you to look at this thing and give us our rightful dues.
Okay.
That's an interesting discussion. Then there is a quote of intelligence by a gentleman called Jainti Kisero. He said, in securitization, or rather, he asks the question, is securitization a good thing? The appeal is obvious. It delivers instant liquidity without the political pain of raising taxes. Okay? Forged court order rocks. Let me read this.
Yes, please.
Forged court order rocks SportPesa owners battle.
Hey.
Court reverses verdict over fictitious order. Yani somebody went and forged the court order.
We?
In Kenya.
Yeah?
Top lawyer under police probe over forgery. Right, that's the headline. Then KWS revenue blow as court halts higher park entry fees. The High Court has frozen the revised park entry fees by Kenya Wildlife Services, dealing a blow to the state agency. Right, then in life there's a picture of a gentleman who was our ambassador for 9 years to the United Nations and 5 as principal secretary of foreign affairs. His name is Macharia Kamau. That's in the headlines. Then in the Nation, court recalls ferry boss over 2019 Likoni tragedy. A Mombasa court has issued fresh summons to a manager in charge of ferry operations over the accident that led to the death of a mother and her daughter. This mother drove off, apparently, the ramp. It is said there are those who argue that they didn't drive off the ramp. The ferry was already overloaded, and she had parked in a precarious position. The car slipped over.
Yes.
This is the case. Okay? Right.
But can you really know the truth?
Yes, you can.
How?
Yes,
because we were not with, no one was in that vehicle apart from the deceased persons.
Yeah, but there were people watching. There were people.
Yes, but you really can't know the. Okay, what I'm asking is, because they're saying that, was it intentional? Perhaps that's the question that is not coming out clearly. Was it intentional that she did this so that she could commit suicide and kill her children?
The suicide issue was at the heart of the story, and for this matter to have been in court, we'll look at it once I've gone through this. I'll look at it in great detail, because that's an interesting case.
Yeah.
Inheritance wars divide North Rift's wealthy families. In the region, fortunes built over lifetimes are now tearing families apart as bitter fights erupt over disputed wills and fractured loyalties. This is not just the North Rift. It's happening everywhere in the country.
Yeah.
Election shocker for Kupet Wasu bosses. The Registrar of Trade Unions order barring amended constitution in next year's elections is a blow to senior officials of the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education, Kupet, and the university's academic staff, Wasu. Interesting story. Maraga. This is my promise to change Kenya. Former Chief Justice Maraga, who shook the country, did he? With a landmark verdict.
Are you asking if he shook the country?
Yes, but if you listen to what I'm about to read, you'll find he did shake the country.
Okay.
With the landmark verdict nullifying the outcome of the presidential poll in 2017. It shook the country. People didn't expect it. And I remember the president then who was furious. Right. Yesterday, formally declared his bid for high office, anchoring the campaign on justice and fidelity to the Constitution. Good luck with that. Back in the middle of the paper, inside bungled hiring of 10,000 police officers. The last recruitment was in 2022 under former government. A protracted power struggle between police chiefs and the National Police Service Commission, linked to control over staffing and a 60 billion payroll, finally spilled into court, where a judge suspended recruitments of constables that was set to begin today. The bone of contention is whether the commission is mandated by the Constitution to recruit. We will learn about this, won't we?
I guess we shall.
Right. I
guess we will.
Yes. Let me tell you something about these forged papers, shall I?
Please do.
It's interesting. Forged court orders. God Almighty. The High Court order restrained the businessman from dealing in Pevans, East Africa, which owns SportPesa brand, for 2 years, ending January 24th, 2023. However, the fictitious order had different wordings, indicating an injunction had been granted blocking Mr. Ndungu or his agents from dealing in Pevans in perpetuity. The order originally stated there would be an order, but it would end on January 2023.
2 years ago.
The forged one, and you are banned continuously
for life
ad infinitum.
Until ile siku tutaamua you're no longer banned.
Yes. The court order was filed in the Court of Appeal, and the judges relied on it to block Mr. Ndungu from participating in a suit where a consent allowing Milestone Games to use SportPesa trademark had been challenged. The disputed consent was said to have been inked by Milestone Gaming and Betting Control and Licensing Board, whose 5 of 7 directors owned the agreement and rejected claims they had approved the use of Super Sports trademark. We've got it. Somebody forged court papers.
But people have got a spine, eh? They've got claws, they've got canines. Because why would you? Why? Do you know? This is different from forging an academic certificate, for example.
How is it different?
No, what I mean is the consequence. For me, I think the consequences for this probably are dire.
It's forgery.
It's forgery, yes. But number one, you've impersonated a court officer.
Here you've impersonated the examination officials.
But what I mean, like, unajua,
so you think if you
I'm not saying that it's better to impersonate this one, or what I mean is by the time unaenda kuforge makaratasi ya kotini city, you're a different kind of animal.
Maybe not. Different in what way would you say? You could be different, but in what way? Let me tell you what happens.
The gravity, in my opinion, is greater in this case.
No, it isn't. Because we're dealing with the court, you think that forging a court document is of a graver or more serious, has more serious consequences when you forge
I feel like yes.
result. It's forgery. It's forgery.
For me, it's like let me give it a comparison, and I could be wrong on this one, but let me just compare it either way. It's like you stealing money from a bank versus stealing a chicken because you're hungry.
You're still a thief.
Unacheki?
You're a thief.
You're a thief, yes. But one is a greater thief than the other. I don't know if it's making sense.
When you rob a bank, usually you are armed or you used your keyboard. There will be no villagers running after you, baying for your blood and wanting to kill you.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Bank, on the other hand, when you rob it, if you're caught, you'll be taken to jail.
Oh yeah.
Chicken thief, you're likely to die.
And when you're robbing a bank, you're not robbing because you're hungry. You want to amass wealth.
Not only, you want to be rich. It's enterprise.
Yes.
It's the business you've chosen.
Yes. But chicken, nimeangalia hakuna kazi around, hakuna, there's not, and I'm hungry too. Tonight I am hungry. I gotta eat. My neighbor 3 plots away, chicken zake zinatembeanga tu huku hivi. Take one, slaughter it, eat, as I figure out what to do tomorrow. So if I'm caught, naweza jitetea buda nilikuwa na njaa. Okay, fine, yes, crime committed.
Why didn't you go and ask your neighbor and tell him, look,
chances are I've tried it and he or she has never given me that chicken. Anyway, so we don't get away from the point. I'm just thinking, but court order.
Well, because it's a court, you think it's a graver crime. You are a thief. You are a forger. Not forgerer. You're just a forger. Inside bungled hiring of 10,000 officers. This particular story, I would like to see how it unfolds. You know why? Every time we have a situation where some of these matters are taken to court, what we are now dealing with is a greater understanding of our constitution and our laws. So we'll get to understand when you say the police service is an independent entity. Okay, what do you mean? When you say there's a police service commission, okay, what do they do? What can they do? What are their powers or the limitations? Because these are the things that are going to be discussed in court. This is a good thing. By the time this case is over, we'll have a much, much clearer understanding of how these two entities are supposed to exist next to each other. So for me, this is a very, very, very good thing.
All right.
This story of page 10 of the lady who died at the Likoni ferry. Right. Let me just read a bit. This came after witnesses say only Goa could respond to difficult questions on the operational failure that led to tragedy. Let me read it, okay? A Mombasa court has issued fresh summons of ferry operations general manager Bakari Goa over the September 29, 2019 incident that claimed the lives of a mother and a 4-year-old daughter. Mombasa Chief Magistrate Alex Ithuku issued the summons after Prosecution Counsel Alex Ndiema requested that the former Kenya Ferry Services Managing Director be recalled to clarify critical issues relating to the ferry operations and that contributed to the accident.
Yes.
The court blah 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 blah. Let me see. No, what I wanted them was still us to remind us of the story. This particular article does not remind us of what it is that actually happened.
Okay.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to read.
Right.
So that I could remind. But yes, this lady was in a vehicle, and ostensibly the vehicle was moving from one side of the ferry to the other, and the vehicle seemed to have slipped off and fallen into the sea. And that particular passage where it falls in, it is extremely deep. Because that's a passage that all these huge ships that dock in Mombasa pass through. It is deep. So, this is the story. But remember, in an earlier time, this was Likoni Ferry, it was the Mtongwe Ferry. That was in the 1990s. It killed very many people.
I remember that story, yes.
Remember that tragedy? Yes. So, that particular story, that ferry was overloaded. People were used to being overloaded. It was an old ferry.
Kafika pale katikati ikaamua bana kazi imeisha. But I was asking you when you read that story, could we really ascertain that he wanted to commit suicide, or it was just one of those mistakes? Ulikanyanga mafuta kidhani unakanyanga brakes.
What happens is this,
ama aliachilia brakes, ako ameweka maybe handbrake, and then the vehicle just rolled over the ferry.
That is what the court is supposed to determine. But what is certain is that for this thing to have been rehashed or to be brought back to life, either there's some new information that has come to light, or,
for example, did she leave like a suicide note? Had she spoken about suicide maybe to her friends, or alluded to something similar and said that, when I do this, I'll do it together with, I'll make sure I go down with my kids. I don't think that is
one daughter, 4-year-old.
Yeah. I don't think that information is clear as far as that is concerned. But anyway, tutajua a matter of national interest. Cocaine Highway, ulikuwa na shida na history city. Marketed as a model for aviation security, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport now stands exposed as a soft underbelly in the global drugs trade. Investigations reveal how a British passport holder, Damata dos Santos, who's 28, was waved through checks with cocaine worth millions in his luggage, aided by handlers in uniform and plain clothes. His arrest in London has left Kenya's law enforcement silent, fueling fears that East Africa's busiest hub is in the grip of cartel infiltration. So here's a timeline.
One case, and they conclude that it's in the grip of cartels.
Wacha tusome ya May 13th they started. A foreigner walked into Kenya's supposedly highly guarded international airport, carrying a briefcase packed with Class A and B drugs that included cocaine worth millions of shillings. With surprising ease, he slipped through departures. Then the man, the 28-year-old, has been identified by investigators as Damata dos Santos. He was traveling on a British passport but believed to be of Brazilian origin aboard flight BA064. And then September 2nd, dos Santos had made another trip to on September 2nd last year. He traveled again using his British passport, arriving in Nairobi on a KQ flight. 4 days later, he booked a flight back to London. And then on June 16th, he was arrested. Now, the Metropolitan Police confirmed to the Standard the arrest of dos Santos, noting that he appeared before the Isleworth Crown Court on June 16th, where he was remanded in custody pending trial on December 3rd, 2025.
There's something that must be understood about court cases that keep coming up.
Which is?
This matter that we were referring to. If you've used the ferry, I did for many, many years.
Right.
The ferry over time started having CCTVs. Part of the reason was because it was said there were pickpockets. Because it gets packed, completely packed. Now, this particular lady and the accident, you know, when you board the ferry, there's a ramp the ferry has on both sides.
Yes.
The ramp is lowered, vehicles move out. When it moves towards the sea, as it goes to the other side, the ramps come up. Okay? So even if you wanted to drive off, it would be difficult because they're up, they're like this. You would probably knock it. Okay? In this case, the ramps were down. And this lady apparently reversed. Now, is it that she was trying to drive and reverse? Many stories.
We don't know.
Okay? But the ferry have to answer for why it is that ramp was down. What happened? If it had faults, they'll ask, so why was it not repaired before it started carrying people? Because if it was down, what if a vehicle had faulty brakes, a faulty handbrake? It means with the movement of the sea, what if a car could slip off?
True story.
So, it isn't the first time. Many years ago, it was in the 90s, 80s or 90s, early 90s, there was a young man who worked for the refineries who ostensibly committed suicide in the ferry.
Yes. How did he do it?
He drove his car and then just drove off.
So this was intentional?
Yes, it is said it was suicide. And it was also alleged that there was a case of the alleged case of a broken heart or something of that sort. So, again, when these things arise, the people who are in charge are the ones who are now brought to ask, Chief, you are in charge. How did this happen? Because you ought to know. And when he's brought in, other people who work under him, who are specifically in charge of some of those functions, will also be brought through. Yes.
I guess we shall find out then.
That we most certainly will. Yes.
Hii story ya Dos Santos umesemaje? This guy with the drugs, cocaine.
One person is caught. You say they're being escorted, and then you conclude that there's a cartel because of one incident. Do they mention
other cases? Well, if we open page 4, perhaps they have. I don't know, but we have. This is not the first time we're hearing of drug trafficking via JKIS CT.
Yes, but
how many cases
for it to be a cartel? Are there 10, 20 in a month? Do you have 3 or 4 cases?
So according to you, how many would amount to it being a highway of drugs?
If they could indicate to us the number of cases of this nature that they come across on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, then I would say yes, we do have a problem here. But one case, no,
it's not enough.
It's wholly inadequate, bro. It's inadequate, completely inadequate.
Haitoshi mboga kuifanya kwe highway.
Mboga hata ugali haitoshi.
Hata ugali haitoshi. Haya, baptism of fire. Matiang'i options narrow as former CS faces brutal politics. Story on page 4 and 5. Matiang'i amekuwa katika limelight for a while now because obviously he's running for president, and it is said that perhaps he will run on a Jubilee ticket. Mali amefikia, as far as that is concerned, hatujui for now.
You know, the thing is this.
Yes, sir.
That guy may be a presidential candidate, but this man is not a politician.
Matiang'i is not a politician?
No, he's not.
Are you sure?
Let me repeat it in case you didn't hear me the first time. He is not a politician.
I mean, he's dressed like one. He walks like one. He is friends with others, politicians, former president, actually.
I have friends of mine who work for the police service. Does it make me a policeman?
But if you want to be recruited as a policeman, at least you will get tips from your friends who are cops.
I cannot be recruited as a policeman.
No. What I'm trying to say is, listen, CT.
At this tender age that I'm at.
No. What I'm trying to say is, assuming everything was right in terms of your physique, age,
everything, my teeth are as intact.
You have all 32, yes. And then you do not have scars or tattoos on your body.
What do you mean?
You have. Here they don't recruit people who have tattoos.
Why?
I don't know.
That's that's discrimination.
I have never been in a recruitment drive. I don't know.
Carry on.
So assuming you have everything right as far as the criteria is concerned, and you have cop friends, see, they'll tell you, si tukifika pale kwa recruitment hiyo siku, first of all make sure usikule ugali, utashinda kukimbia. Sawa, make sure the previous night hujaonja ile kitu unapendanga kuonja, hiyo achana nayo, so that you can do what, you can be sober enough to talk to your fellow afande. Usivute sigara, quit sigara, because you'll not be able to run for 5 kilometers without collapsing. Number 4, what else do we look for? Make sure if you have any tattoos, and those dress easy. So they tell you all these things, okay? So they'll prepare you for the what? For the recruitment. So same thing with Matiang'i. He's been now prepared because he has a former president as his buddy. He has a lot of other folks in his party that can tell him this is how politics is run. They obviously have the money. Yeah, so they'll give him the support he needs financially. So why are you saying that he's not fit to be? He's not a good politician.
Sir, you have this knack for interpreting things I say to suit your own purposes.
Well, bro.
He is not a politician.
All right, so he's not a politician.
No, he's not.
But he can be president.
My friend, in this country, anybody can be president.
Including Matiang'i?
Including Matiang'i.
Okay.
I merely said he is not a politician. I didn't say he can't vie. I only said he is not a politician.
Can he be made into a politician? Can he be molded?
The man is long in the tooth. How is he going to be made into a politician at this late stage?
See, he can be told, look, pale tukienda pale Kamukunji, for example.
Have you seen him on top of a vehicle addressing a crowd?
I haven't yet.
Bro,
maybe Mindo's jungle the right pictures.
Somewhere where tear gas is flying all over the place.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, he's ordered tear gas to fly all over the place. That much we know for a fact.
Do you have to be around tear gas for you to?
The reason why I'm mentioning these things, they're street creds for that determine whether you're a politician or
not. For Kenyans to label you as politicians and actually vote for you.
Is he okay? Brother knows. Yes, brother knows. Hey!
Lazima apande pale juu ya jukwaa.
Bro, it makes a lot of sense when you stand up impromptu meeting.
Yes.
Okay? With a megaphone. And especially when you are in your neck of the woods. You go to an area, you greet them in the way they like to be greeted and they chant back. That's our politics, man.
Na uambie watu kutoka mkinipatia kura 6,000 shillings every household.
You can even do better than that. We'll start growing mira. Okay, even if we'll cut a few tea bushes and grow mira. The point I'm trying to make is he hasn't made any political moves, but
yes,
that we know of. You know the antics that politicians make. However,
yes,
he can be packaged and he can be moja tu aonekane ya kwamba yeye ni mtu ambaye anaweza kusimama na anaweza kuongoza vizuri.
Naam.
Then the games begin. Okay. Because now once you enter the fray,
yes,
man, it's open season.
Things change.
What change appear? The things that will be said about you, my friend.
Utashanga. So what are we saying? That Matiang'i he doesn't have the.
He is not a politician. He doesn't behave like a politician.
He doesn't talk like one.
No, he doesn't. Doesn't behave like one.
How would we categorize him then? He's a what?
Bureaucrat.
Okay. Bureaucrat it is. But I'm waiting to see where this goes because President Uhuru and his team. Look at Jubilee. You know, we have the Kionis of Jubilee. We have, of course,
Kioni is a politician.
Yeah. And even I can't remember any other person who's in Jubilee, but there are very many politicians there and they can mold this guy. Now, remember, ukikuja kwa watu hivi ndivyo utaongea.
This I would like to see.
Yeah. Let's see that happening. Anyway, right now though, it's time for the news with Winnie Maganga. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
It's 7 o'clock. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The National Police Service has postponed the recruitment exercise, which was scheduled to commence today. The NPS said the move followed a court order halting the exercise. It said, together with the National Police Service Commission, that they are pursuing legal remedies to enable the recruitment to resume as soon as possible. This comes as Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen voiced strong opposition to the court order that suspended the nationwide police recruitment exercise, urging the judiciary to reconsider its decision.
I'm aware, of course, that there was a legal process in court, and one of the judges has given an order to stop the recruitment process. I believe that will be sorted. I wish I would call the judge directly. I wish I would be allowed to call the judge directly to understand the consequence of a court order stopping recruitment of police that has never happened for the last 4 years, and how it is very critical for the safety of our country to recruit those police officers urgently, not just because of anything else, to secure our borders, because there are many police officers who have retired, some have passed on, and we need to replace.
Tension remains high in Kibiko, Ngong, Kajiado County after violent clashes broke out over the disputed Kekonyokie Community Trust Land. During the chaos, a vehicle was set on fire, several people were injured, and roads were barricaded as rival groups faced off. The more than 2,600-acre parcel, estimated to be worth more than 100 billion Kenya shillings, is at the center of a bitter ownership row.
Kwa hiyo ukora ambao umefanyika katika sijui Ministry of Land kwamba area shamba moja ambayo ni kama eka moja nimewekwa karibu watu 10 ama 15 kwa parcel moja ya eka moja. Na hiyo hatutakubaliana na wao sio na wao si wenyeji, na hatutakubaliana na hiyo wakawaji ya hiyo hati, kwa sababu hakuna siku ambayo tumewahi kukaa kama wenyeji na kusema kwamba hizi shamba tutafanya kukatakata.
Nairobi County health workers on Thursday staged street protest over delayed salaries. The workers who marched to the governor's office accused the county executive of betrayal, threatening to paralyze operations in all health facilities until the 3 months' salaries are paid. The county government said it has paid 2 months' salary today and pledged to clear the pending arrears within 1 week.
We have had the employer commit to resolve these issues, only for them to go against the agreements. So non-honoring of agreement is one of the reasons why we are out here. So we are wondering, why would we always sit on a table and discuss issues that don't end up being implemented?
SHA came, it reduced our pay slip. House levy came, it reduced our pay slip. But on our side, we're not being promoted. In this tough economy, imagine living with the same salary you lived 10 years ago, 5 years ago. How are we meant to survive?
16 suspects accused of burning down Makongeni police station in Thika and 6 others accused of torching Matu police station in Machakos County on Thursday appeared before Kahawa law courts for the commencement of their case. But the plea taken was once again deferred as the prosecution cited incomplete investigations and sought to amend the charges. The court directed them to return on Tuesday to be informed of new charges. The suspects are expected back in court next Tuesday to take a new plea. The man who carried out an attack at a synagogue in Manchester in the UK on Thursday, which left 2 Jewish people dead and 3 others injured, has been named by police as Jihad al-Shami. Al-Shami, a 35-year-old British man of Syrian descent, drove a car at people outside the Heaton Park Hebrew Congregation Synagogue before attacking people with a knife. He was shot dead by police at the scene. Greater Manchester Police said 3 further people had been arrested as part of the investigation into the terrorist incident. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
Radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
A very good morning to you and welcome back. This is Radio Generation. It is now 5 minutes past 7 o'clock. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying your Friday. We're almost getting into the weekend. But as we do that, the conversations in studio have got to continue. Na lazima tuzingatie on the most important parts. And today, we're going to be talking about what is it called? The election cycle in this country, the by-elections, for instance, and the future of political parties. And to help us have this conversation is none other than Philip Etale. He He is the Director of Communications at the ODM party. Philip, welcome to Radio Generation once again.
Thank you.
Yes, you can grab those ones. Kuna zingine ziko hapo kando. Yeah. But karibu tena sana.
Asante sana. This is my second time here and I'm excited to be here.
It is your second time indeed.
Sure.
And the last time you were here, we had a very fruitful conversation. I remember we spoke a lot about the youth. We spoke about maandamano. We spoke about a lot of things.
Sure.
And perhaps we shall recap on some of them right now as we continue the conversation about the by-elections and the future of political parties. Let me get right into it. And I'll start by asking, there's this upcoming by-elections. Is ODM fielding any candidates in any of these particular spaces?
Yeah, we are fielding candidates in some of the elected areas that are vacant. For instance, we have Magarini, where we gave a direct certificate to the immediate former MP,
right,
whose election was nullified, Mwalimu Harrison Garama Kombe.
Okay.
It was important that we just entrust him with the ticket so that he continues with this job that he had started. He's a seasoned politician,
right,
and the nullification of his election actually was a big upset. But we are sure we are going to come there. We'll recapture that seat. We're also fielding in Ugunja,
right,
where we had nominations last week, as well as Kasipul constituency. The nominations were held last week on Friday as well.
Okay.
And there are other wards across the country where we are fielding candidates. They're spread out across the country. So we have candidates. There are areas where, in politics, just like in the UK, where there's red, blue, green areas. So there are areas where we may not be popular as a party. We opted not to field candidates. But where we believe are strongholds that we can say these are our strongholds, you see, we have candidates there.
So you might not be fielding in some of those places where you're not popular, but are you supporting any candidates?
It's not that we're not popular. It's about how is our party performing in that particular region.
Okay.
Yeah. For instance, we cannot field a candidate in Central when we know that definitely will not win. So we only field where we know that we are capable of mounting a campaign that can be productive.
Okay.
Yes.
But ODM is still in Azimio, is it?
It is.
In Azimio. Yeah, and I'm sure there are candidates from other parties within Azimio in those particular regions you've mentioned. For instance, in Central or any other part where we could be having by-elections, but Azimio is not, or rather ODM is not as prominent or popular or strong as we are liking to put it. In those particular places where there's an Azimio candidate, whether it's a Jubilee candidate, Wiper candidate, LD, whatever the many parties, are you going to support anyone in those regions?
Politics is about competition.
Yes.
And about flexing your political muscle and prowess. I'll give you an example. In Kasipul constituency, which is an ODM stronghold.
Yes.
The Wiper Party, the former Wiper Party, it's called Wiper Patriotic Front, has fielded a candidate. It's competition. Yeah, it's about showing yourself and trying to prove yourself that you can. If they win, so be it. If we win, yeah, we carry the day. Yeah, it's yes.
Philip, if we take that view, then don't you think a place like Central, where you say that ODM isn't that strong, wouldn't fielding a candidate give you an opportunity to talk to the people of that region and tell them about what you stand for, even if you think you cannot win, even if you know it is someone else's stronghold?
City, there are many ways of talking to people about your policies and ideology as a political party, not just about fielding candidates. If you want to sell, a product in a market that is a bit not quite
favorable
to you, there are strategies that you employ. And it's not about fielding a candidate. It's not just about fielding candidates that can make you endear to the people. We have other strategies that we can reach out to the people and try to make our party popular in those areas. Then in future, we can be able to field candidates. We have structures there. We have party officials, and they're working around the clock to popularize the party. But sometimes they advise us, they say, in this by-election, please, I don't think the ground is quite favorable for this, for our candidate. Then we say, yeah, let's wait for another time. So it's not that we are not popular in those areas. Our presence has been felt, it's still being felt, and we hope that it's going to be felt in the near future.
Do I ask the question? Yeah. If we talk of Central Land, let me be specific to parts of Kiambu County and part of Murang'a.
Yeah.
There is a sizable population of individuals who are already aligned. Because if you look at Azimio and the parties that are within it, and you look at ODM, you look at Jubilee, who are part of Azimio at that point in time.
They're actually still part of Azimio.
This Azimio thing for me is a bit confusing.
So they actually affirmed it.
Yes, so if you hear me speaking in uncertain terms, it reflects my understanding of it, and not the reality. It's my understanding. If you remove Jubilee, which for all intents and purposes is very much a Central Kenya party.
Yes.
No, I'm actually speaking.
Yeah, it's the truth. Yeah.
The Kamba vote is mostly nestled in Wiper. Luo, Kisii, Luya vote ODM in this region. People who subscribe to this particular division that I've mentioned are found in the areas that I've spoken of. And the numbers are not small. So there are people who could actually cast their vote in that direction. I am not saying that I'm going back to the discussion of whether they should stand or not. I'm simply saying that there's a voter base that can vote for the people who were in Azimio but don't come from that region. That is the point I'm making. And I've made it, so now I'll keep quiet.
All right.
You see, City, there's a difference between a mere political party that wants to be there to be seen, and there's a political movement that wants to make things happen. The ODM party is a political movement, and that's why I said the ODM party is in every corner of this country. It suffices to say that the requirement for a political party to be registered, to be issued with a certificate of registration by the Register of Political Parties, is to have at least offices in at least 24 counties. ODM has surpassed that. We are at 44 counties across the country, offices operational. And if you go to the office of the Register of Political Parties, their records show that ODM is the only party that operates within the precincts of the law, the requirements of the law. Yes, it was that certification was made last year in July by the then Register of Political Parties, who is now commissioning the IBC, and they said because of the fulfillment of the requirements of the Political Parties Act, we are up to date in terms of filing our returns to the registrar. The audit report is always clean. There are no queries, and that's why she said the only party, if you can Google, it was in media all over, the only party that operates within the law is the ODM party, and we are proud of that because we do things in accordance with the law. We are not just there for mere purposes of being a political party.
Philip, you're saying out of all the 100 plus parties,
yes,
only ODM.
There are 103 parties
103
duly registered.
Yes. So out of 103, ODM.
It is not me saying that. It is a report by the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties,
all right,
who is the custodian of all political parties.
All right.
Yes, and they do due diligence. They carry out due diligence to all political parties. They monitor activities of political parties, and every year The Office of the Register of Political Parties conducts what we call inspection. All political parties, they visit counties, they see how parties are operating within those counties, and so that's why she said we are the only party that is operating within the law. So others should start working hard to reach our standards as ODM.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, got you. So I guess I needed to understand whether ODM being in Azimio will support Azimio in other regions, but I think I get the message now. Now, in terms of getting into the election, the by-election, people we've spoken to on this particular show say that perhaps this one is going to be a show of might, whether to see that whether parties are still relevant, certain parties are still relevant, or new parties, emerging parties such as DCP, for example, the newly one that was registered by Martha Karua, will be able to have influence over the areas where they will have candidates. I don't know what your opinion on that is.
First, I want to correct you. Honorable Martha Karua's party is not a new party. She just rebranded NAC Kenya into some other name.
PLP now, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Now, you see, as I said, the purpose of political party is to win state power.
All right.
And to have numbers. So when you see political parties emerge and start flexing their muscles in a number of by-elections like we have now,
right,
it tells you that our democracy is maturing. And it's not, we in ODM have our space. We do not fear any competition. We are ready. We are ready to take on. And you said, and I remember very well, our national chairperson, Her Excellency Gladys Wanga, and the Director of Elections, the Honorable Jeanette, while issuing certificates, attending the function to issue certificates to our candidates, they said categorically that we are going to campaign just like any other political party.
Right.
And we are in these by-elections to win, not just to show our presence. We are going to win. Yes. And we are going to carry a number of elective seats in these by-elections, and you can take it to the bank.
Okay. And I like the confidence, because at the end of the day, no one is going to say, we are trying to see whether, this will work. Or and I guess we shall see when those elections are carried out. On the issue of the future of political parties, we are seeing a lot of divisions in the united opposition. And at this point, we can already see for a fact that ODM is in a broad-based, understanding with the ruling party or with Kenya Kwanza government. Where does that leave the united opposition? Because it's a question I've been yearning to ask, and especially someone from ODM. Is ODM in the united opposition, or is ODM going it alone come 2027, or is ODM going to support the president come 2027?
ODM is just the Orange Democratic Movement Party. And we maintain our brand as ODM. Let me tell you something. A house built on quicksand cannot survive.
For sure.
And that's why you will find there are a lot of undertones in what you're calling united opposition. I remember so well back in the day when I was a budding journalist in the media, covering NARC. Before NARC, there was Rainbow Party, and there was NAK. I could see, I was very young, I think I was 20 years old. I could see the kind of charisma, the kind of oomph and determination that the then opposition had. And that's why they to wrestle Kanu out of power in 2002. What I'm seeing today is just I would say, what I would describe it as without being prejudicial. It's like small children trying to fight for a banana in the house. You see, everyone wants to show that I'm capable of being the president of Kenya. I'm capable of whipping the emotions. I'm capable of attracting the Gen Zs. And I will say, without batting my eye, that the united opposition doesn't have the stamina to face the current
president.
If they continue behaving like they are today. Listen to what the former deputy president says every time he stands before a multitude. Nothing but just like a crybaby. You are whining. You are not telling Kenyans. You're not giving Kenyans hope. You know, the people, after election, people are supposed to be given hope.
Yeah.
You see? You make people hope and think that, you know, yes, you are the alternative. This guy is ready to transform this country. But what I see, anytime I see a press conference by the United Opposition, at the end of it, there's no news. Even you journalists can attest to this. Nothing comes out of those press conferences. Nothing that can shake the country. Nothing like an earthquake. You see, they are too flat. Everyone is competing. Everyone wants to show their prowess. Oh, I have a party. This one has you see, this one is a spy of the government. Blah, blah. That's not how to go about it, you see, in politics. Yeah, I'm speaking as someone who is a political animal. I work with politicians.
Yes.
And I've been around for some time. I've covered politics. I've sat with politicians. And I can tell you the kind of opposition that we have today does not have the meat.
You know, how politicians behave, well, it's the same as saying how political parties behave. It's because the behavior of people who lead the political parties are the ones who give credence to how political parties behave. What if that is their style? You know, politicians in this country tend to follow a certain script. Tend to. I mean the word tend to. And the process of getting themselves known very rarely has anything to do with the substance you speak of, Philip. Very rarely.
Sure.
They excite the crowd. They tell the crowd what they want to hear. And even if you look at what we've referred to as waves in this country, political waves, you cannot say that people reasoned themselves into a wave. No, you get carried along with it. There's a visceral response to what you hear, and that response, or the vigor of that response, is often based on what you feel is a need and how it is being addressed by these political parties.
Right.
For instance, if bashing the current government gives you mileage, that is what you will talk about, because you think that is what gives you mileage. If there is a chant and a mantra that people say and it seems to have gathered sufficient momentum, that is what they will say. To actually find politicians who genuinely tell you about what it is that they want to do to change your life and even walk you through the steps, that's difficult. There's an argument that is made, and it makes sense, that they will not talk about it because that is like telling the people whom they're competing with what they're going to do. Well, you're giving the broad strokes, you're not giving the details.
It's a strategy, basically.
Yes, but that's how they go about it. All right? But my belief, and on this I agree with you, any substantive doesn't come out of it. You listen, you say, okay, we've heard. Because they all tell us what we know. We live here. They repeat what we know. We see it. So I'm thinking, why are you telling me what I already know? When you're a leader, the whole point is supposed to lead. You're not supposed to be part of an echo chamber. So when we look at the united opposition, I'm asking this question. First of all, there's nothing of that sort. They're not even united. I don't know why they keep calling themselves the united opposition. Those who claim to be in the opposition. Okay.
Kuna watu tunaitanga mheshimiwa, but they are not waheshimiwa, but we still call them.
Waheshimiwa haswa ni wananchi ambao wanapigia kura. Those are the real waheshimiwa. But that's a discussion for another day. The point I'm trying to make is this. If we have the politics that we've always had, then nothing will change. It doesn't matter who becomes president, nothing will change. The change has to come from the rhetoric. It has to come from what someone is saying, because you feel what this person is saying is different. That supposed difference is what got this current president the momentum he got to get to where he is. He was saying something different. What we know as social contracts.
Yes.
My friend, he was calling them charters, and he was literally signing them everywhere he went, in every county. This we've never seen. Okay? It's the long rope that's hanging him now.
Yes.
But that is what he did. So, Bwana Itali, if indeed this so-called united opposition, which is anything They're not united in the very least. If they have chosen to have this disjointed way of approach as their strategy, who are we to say that it isn't a strategy? Because you wait, they keep doing the same thing. This one says
confuse them.
You read the papers, united opposition, this one is saying this, so he's saying this.
They're so disjointed.
Yes.
And I'll say, you see, when I remember before I joined ODM, where I'm working now, before I started sitting in the seat that I occupy, I used to cover political rallies. I was a senior political reporter, so I was so passionate about politics, and still I am. You remember, and City and yourself can attest to this, anytime the Honorable Raila Odinga addressed the media, it was an earth-shaking statement that was making, and he could set the agenda. The current united opposition, none of them has
set an agenda,
the energy to set the agenda for this country, and for the people to start saying, oh yeah, this is the way to go. You see, you need to make people become so enthusiastic about you, not just issuing flat statements and trying to compete for the microphone. You see, that doesn't make you look like you are fit enough to compete in any political race, in any election. So what I'm trying to say is, I think where we are now as a nation, we as a common mwananchi, I think we are a bit lost, because when the opposition says they're united, they want to make this country better than it is today, then you listen to what they say, it makes no difference. Yeah.
Perhaps, CT, I'll ask you this because you brought in a very interesting perspective that we've probably thought about but never really articulated it in that way. Is this strategy that we think or we are suspecting that or the opposition has, is it something that has worked somewhere before? We can say that it happened in Peru or Colombia, where the opposition was looking confused, but alas, come D-Day, things changed.
Let me go back to what Philip has just said regarding Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga didn't always stand up and crowds listened to what he had to say. It's something that was built over time, and there are reasons behind it. It is a journey that, if you follow, was a very difficult one. Extremely difficult. At a time when people didn't even dare. Okay? When you're in a one-party state, and with a constitution that gives the president nearly godlike powers, you pose that person, you're really going to be in trouble.
Sure.
And not very much can be done. When you have a president who can appoint the judges, forget this thing of JSC, he could appoint.
And sack.
Yes, there's one party. So when you stand, even for the nomination, you can more or less decide who's going to be nominated, because then you can be an MP. And when you're an MP, again, you decide who's going to be a minister. So that's an environment that existed that many people do not seem to understand. And the Constitution supported it. It's not as though they were breaking major laws as such, but they're not allowed to kill people. But they could do more or less what they wanted with you. That's why the Nyaos Gulag exactly existed. That's one. Two, when somebody has been in a position where they have said certain things that were seen as being very far-fetched, and over time the statements they have made have proven to be true over and over, people get to feel, this person knows something that we don't know. But it's over time. So it becomes difficult for somebody who doesn't have a proven track record to actually have the same gravitas. It's almost impossible. Okay? Remember in an earlier conversation when I was telling you that the way we do our politics, how many politicians do you know who have marched with their supporters, have been tear gassed, has had his car shot at close range with clearly the intention to kill him? This is something that either is forgotten, or the people who would rather one forgot these things, and so you want to place this particular politician on the same platform as the others. They simply cannot be, because they are not. Okay? But the discussion is, how does such a politician move the country forward? This, what I'm about to say, is my view. In 2002, something happened that changed our politics for the longest time. At least it began that journey. The Luos and the Kikuyus were the people who held sway in this government and independence. They took most of the plum jobs. The Muslims divided this country into two. They were the most populous. They were the most educated, numerically. They were followed by the Luyas, then followed by the Kambas. But you could see that even in the representation of our cabinet. Things went left, then right, then south. When Jaramogi left Kanu, many things happened. The things that Raila then went through that I mentioned happened in that era. But it was always perceived that the Luos and the Kikuyus are always at loggerheads. A Luo will not vote for a Kikuyu and vice versa, meaning they'll return the favor. In 2002, that changed when Raila said Kibaki Tosha. It changed. What nobody thought would happen, happened. The Luos actually voted for Kibaki, almost to a person. It now became obvious that our politics had changed. Every other change that we see thereafter, you could see politically and in terms of how we vote, started then. Now, once political parties now started forming, what became clear was that our political parties are regionally based. For you to be anyone of substance, you have to have a base that supports you. And usually you start with the people who speak your language. Then you collect others. Why? In an African sense, if your own people don't like you, why should we support you? They're the ones who know you.
Kuna kitu wanajua tu.
Bwana, ama majirani kama wakusupport, how are we going to support you? Sisi tuko mbali na wewe.
Story.
You asked me how I know. Right now is not 1990s. Right now is not 2002. This is 2025. And the politics that we have has changed dramatically because of one thing. Raila and his ilk, his father and their ilk, when they all came to power, they were young. The population of this country had never been predominantly youthful as it is now. But the people who are agitating for change were all youthful. Literally.
Yes.
All youthful. Now, you are in the information age where you have all these young people. 70% plus of those who we consider young are youthful. 27% of our population. They have information, they have access to it, and they can communicate in ways we've never seen before. So now the question that you want to ask, how does one communicate with these individuals, assuming that they have understood that these numbers can actually bring about change? I am of the view that they do not understand it. They talk about it, but as to actualizing it, to do whatever is required to bring about change, that one I am yet to see. As of now, they will not bring about any change. These young people keep talking about. No, they will not.
Philip, what's your thought on that?
I share the same sentiments with my senior.
The young people will not bring any change.
They are just following. It's like an orchestra, in a concert. You'll find where there's an orchestra, there's a band. They're just like, there's a choir master. Then these backup singers, you see. These young men,
they are the backup singers.
They are just the backup singers because there's nothing. They are following the footsteps of the people they perceive that these are the people who can help this country. You see, let me tell you, there's a time I think last time I was here, I said, in a revolution, you don't go about shouting how you are leaderless, you are headless, you are partyless. Revolutionaries are always led by someone. And I shudder to say that during the Gen Z uprising, which was a noble thing to do, there was someone behind it, but they didn't want to tell. And that's why it's eating them today. There was someone trying to orchestrate that, and they hid behind that person. They refused to disclose that person.
Yes.
And that's why whatever they did has just gone under like that.
But if they had someone, Philip, wouldn't we have known that person by now? Out of these millions of young people,
not necessarily.
It's not. Yeah.
You see,
no. You see, I would say actually what they did was the right thing to do.
Okay.
In any democracy. But hiding behind somebody and someone bankrolling something and trying to say, even the person who's bankrolling those things, I think is also ashamed, because whatever they wanted to achieve did not happen. So I'm trying to I support what City says, that anything that these people are trying to say will not bring change in this country. If we want change in this country, we need to have fresh thinking. We need to have good thoughts. How do we sit down as a nation, as young people? Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm young. I'm 46 this year.
Okay.
But I think I'm still young.
Yes.
Wow.
We can sit down as young people and discuss how we can make our country great. And not just through throwing jabs at each other, insulting those in power. It will not, in fact, if you insult people in power, history has it that the people in power will suppress you. They will make you look like you are a nobody, you see.
Yes.
And the best way to punish someone who is shouting to the rooftop is to ignore them. Like now, you see, I'll give you an example. I keep talking about Rigiji.
Yes.
He keeps talking, shouting, and making all manner of innuendos. And then nobody responds to him. In fact, the people who used to respond to him, like Oscar Sudi and others, have stopped responding to him because they have realized this guy says nothing, but nothing. You see? So, if you want to deflate somebody's ego, ignore them. Keep quiet. They will look at themselves and say, actually what I'm saying is nothing. You see, if someone makes a joke, cracks a joke somewhere, and people keep quiet, and then he laughs at his own joke, and nobody else laughs, you see, he'll look at himself and say, it was a flat joke.
But did Rigiji really say nothing? Because, he mentioned some damning things. The only thing that we are now waiting for perhaps is evidence. He mentioned.
You see, the things he's saying now,
yes,
he ought to have said them when he was in government. You see what I'm trying to, if he's man enough, did he have to wait to be impeached to start saying them?
Maybe he was just trying to be a good DP or a good partner.
Exactly.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say, that, whatever he's trying to say or to prove to the world is that I can be a good person when I'm inside the kitchen where the food is being cooked. And when I'm denied that food, I become that bad person.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is this. If we want change in this country, we have to be thinkers, and thinkers of great thoughts. How can we make this country better? We still are behind, far much behind. Singapore, Japan, Malaysia were in the same level with Kenya in the 60s.
Through in Korea, South Korea.
Even South Korea.
Well, we are 10 years.
Today, these four countries, their GDP is 7 times or 10 times better than Kenya's. Where did the rain start beating us? Because of this politics that we are playing in the country today. Poor foundation in the 60s. The founders of this country, our forefathers. And then those who succeeded them. And then those who suppressed those who wanted to raise the voice. That's why we are still where we are. Kenya would be very far in comparison to other countries like Singapore, South Korea, Japan. You see? So,
in all those countries that you mentioned, maybe with the exception of Malaysia, there is no major natural resource that they have.
True.
We have more natural resources than very many of those countries. Singapore is a rock. Japan is a series of islands. Okay?
Yeah.
Malaysia is on solid ground. But you see, we are not at a point where we can say we still can't be a great nation. We can. Now, we are relying, or we hope that our future will be governed well by those who will come after us, and that's where the young people come in. The young people have exhibited that they don't really have an interest in politics, not really.
Yeah.
Okay? The last year, it was Jamboree. People were having a good time. That's how it started. We were playing music. It was nice. People went out, took selfies. You protested.
Yep.
It was a beautiful way of sending a message. Since that time, 6 other countries have had youthful uprisings. 6. The UN sent a rapporteur to come and examine this. We all know that entire process was infiltrated. That's not something to even discuss or debate.
Yes.
But when we're talking of young people in this country, as they are currently constituted, those are not people we should leave this country to, because they will mess it up. They are not right now. As I see it, they are all talk. There is very little that they have shown or they have done to demonstrate that they have the capacity that is required to actually change the country. They have not demonstrated it at all, because that requires rigorous commitment over a long period of time. That has not been seen. If you've seen it, tell me about it, so that I can also chime in with you. I have not seen it.
I want to quickly say City. And the young people should not take offense with what City says and what we are saying here. Because, you know, there's this Chinese saying that goes, good medicine tastes bitter. But you have to take it. They have to listen to the voices of reason if they really want to ascend to power in this country. You see, the other day I was in China for close to 3.5 weeks.
Okay.
And what I learned, contrary to what we hear when we are in our country here, is much different. And it's just propaganda, you know, propaganda from the West that, you know, China is coming so fast, you know what I mean? Literally, inakuja mbio sana. China, if you read the history of China, up to the early 70s, mid 70s, China was nothing. But it took resilience, determination, and the hard work of the people of China, and the resolve by the leadership after the death of the father of China, Mao Zedong. The person who succeeded him, Deng Xiaoping, came up with this policy in 1977, reform and open up. Reform means let us redo what we are doing in this country. Let us look at where we've come from and where we are. Do we still want to remain where we are? No. Let us reform. And then opening up means we invite other players, people from outside of China, to come and help us build our country. Today, China is in a different level, that even the big brothers out there are afraid of this China. How fast these guys are growing. In under 50 years, China's GDP is skyrocketing. I mean, you know, it's very, very far. And I was surprised. Even, you know, this technology, you know, China is a technology country, and it's quite industrialized. These iPhones, the Apple products, are not manufactured in the US, yet they are products of US. They are manufactured in China.
Even other Android devices.
They have companies that manufacture these Android devices. These guys have come up with a vehicle. There's a company called Build Your Dreams.
BYD. A vehicle that can cross the ocean. You see, you just press a button, it floats on the water, you cross over and you go. Something that nobody had ever thought. That's China for you. What can we do? What can we learn from China as a country? Even as we make noise on the streets that we want change, what change do we want to bring in this country? Right.
If we cannot sit down and have ideas. In China, people don't sit down and have tea for 2 hours like we do in Kenya, unless you're discussing business.
Right.
5 minutes, you're done, you're back to work.
On to the next.
Yes, and you're thinking about something new to help your country grow. What do we do as young people to think about what can make this country greater than it is? What ideas are we coming up with, rather than sitting in social joints drinking alcohol from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. and going home feeling like we own this world? No.
All right.
We can't build a country like that.
I want to read a comment here. Where is it? Yes, Norbert Owor anasema senior Italy. In Luo, we say the vegetables we say the vegetables that is looked down upon is that finishes the ugali. You underestimate the current voters, you will not believe.
I've not underestimated the current voters. We're just trying to advise the young generation, the youth of this country. Think, have fresh ideas. Don't just shout And then when you are given the opportunity, you do the same things in a different way. Yeah, we can't help this country.
See, I'm not advising the youth. I'm merely stating what I see. And I'm repeating it so that you can understand it. There is nothing that I have seen with the group we collectively refer to as the youth of the Gen Z that convinces me in any shape or form that we will be leaving this country in safe hands if they're the ones who are in leadership. There is nothing they have done to demonstrate it. They began well last year by holding leaders to account by saying, we don't want this thing. Beautiful. Where's the follow through?
Okay.
You don't necessarily need to have a big rally to show this. Where is the follow through? We have a registration right now that is underway.
Yes.
Dismal showing. 8 million people didn't vote in 2020. The majority of them were young.
Yes.
We bring about our changes in this country by voting. So you have the power to vote and you don't use it. And then you are telling us that you are the agents of change. How?
Actually, according to the IEBC, the Gen Z voter turnout, the registration voter turnout is quite low.
It's early days yet, but it is low. That's why I said, as I see it now, if there's change tomorrow, I'll acknowledge it. But now, no. This Gen Z dance that these are the future. Remove that thought from your mind.
You know, it's just that peculiar Kenyan habit. The voter registration exercise started a couple of days ago.
On Monday, yeah.
Now you will see in the last 2 days, people lining up to go and register, and it will be too late for them. Then they start saying, oh, extend this process. Then when it's extended by another 10 days, they disappear. They come back on the 9th day to the conclusion. You know, it takes 10 years to cultivate wood, and it takes 100 years to cultivate a man. Think.
Okay. Tafakari. There's a sonnet anasema, we are not South Asia. I'm so tired of that narrative used as a measure for Kenya. We should concentrate on our own. And then he goes on to say, did Europeans ask us about our own native development? Anasema, sorry, the impetus is on us. We are not Chinese. They are extractive oriented just like the West.
Actually, no, they're not. Extraction cannot take place in this modern day and age without your compliance. In colonization, it was forced upon you. Right now, you accept. It's like politicians trying to tell us that they have been captured by the executive. That's utter nonsense. Nobody is forced to take money. People accept. So these countries we speak of have to be spoken of because they had a certain value system that helped their minds to move forward in the direction that they've moved. We are extractive among ourselves. We have internalized corruption to the point where it has become normalized. So we have a problem when it is too much, not when it is corruption.
Okay.
And it is not a problem if I'm benefiting from it. Those countries moved away from that completely, and all these things were called what they were. You are breaking the law, it was wrong, and you're punished for it. We are not there yet. That value system that we have, ours is warped. If we change that value system, then we can talk about creating something that will lead us along a path that would take us to where the citizen, A, becomes number one, and two, even the person who is of the lowest economic capacity in this country can still live a good life, and the children can have a good hope, which is not the case now.
Okay.
Also, I want to respond to the gentleman who says that China are just as extractive as the West. They're not. That is just a perception. Go there. Those guys work their whatever out.
Behinds out.
They go, they wake up, you know, their day starts at 7 and ends at 9. In Kenya, you do 8 to 5. Those guys work extra hard on the farms. And I was surprised. When I was serving breakfast, I could see sweet potatoes boiled like our grandmothers used to boil. With the peels on. Yes.
And I actually agree with you. We have a very different work culture here in Africa in general, and perhaps we need to focus. We need to rethink and to work just like the former leader of China, the first one in the 70s, Mao Zedong.
Mao Zedong, the father of the Communist
Look at
Party.
these so-called Asian tigers. That development we speak of began with them working 14-hour shifts.
Right.
you would find people living in dormitories within factories, meaning the shifts were such that you couldn't go home and then come back. So and by the way, when you say dormitory style, don't think that they were bunkers and beds, because that occupies space. It was bare earth with maybe a mat, not a mattress, a mat.
Mkeka.
The foundation on which those economies were built was this hard work and austerity. And by the way, many of these people who are working, even when you think of the economies where all these huge tech companies of Europe moved there, university graduates were living like that.
Yes.
They had the expertise, they had the knowledge, but that was the work which was available. They all worked those shifts and those 14 hours. They changed these things over time once the countries became wealthy.
Okay.
But the path they took to get there and the discipline, we don't have it.
Philip, the Star is asking where Raila is. I'm also now curious to find out where Raila is.
Raila is around. And there's no harm in a man deciding that let me take some time off to rest.
Yep.
Rethink, re-strategize, and bounce back.
Rejuvenate.
There's no harm in that.
Yeah.
So this is just the normal headlines we're used to. Trying to ni kama kuchokoza nyuki atoke. But you know what I'm trying to say is Baba is very much okay.
Yes.
I spoke to him yesterday. He's around. He's just resting. By the way, why would you be asking about Raila when there is Rigathi, there is Kalonzo, there is Matiang'i, there is Kioni? Why can't they speak?
But you know,
it's not that it should be Raila Odinga to be speaking every day.
Yeah.
For newspapers to fill their headlines.
But you know Baba is not Rigiji. Baba is not Kalonzo. Yes.
He is trying to show these people that I should not be the one talking for the people of Kenya alone every time. Let others also do. If they are sleeping on their job, shauri yao. Yes.
Haya. Kuna swali limekuja hapa kutoka Elvis. Elvis anauliza, my name is Elvis, tuning from Sigalagala National Polytechnic. My question to Mr. Etale is,
yes,
is there any possibility of ODM to unite with the current opposition before the upcoming 2027 elections, or this time it's different? Thank you. That's his question.
When River Yala is flowing and almost flooding, you never know when it gets into Lake Victoria. It just goes there straight. But you see, that question is quite ambiguous.
It's not really. He's asking,
listen to me first.
Right.
Let me get to my point. I know he's curious. Shigalagala is kule kwetu nyumbani.
No.
ODM, as I said from the onset, is a political movement. It is a political party that has stood the test of time. It has been there for 20 years. That's why we are celebrating our 20 years anniversary. And it suffices to note that, it's the only party in this country that has had the audacity to celebrate its existence. No party has ever done that. Even the old grand parties that have been there before, the ruling party, the other ruling parties that have become obsolete today, we are there. We're not there just for state power.
Okay.
We are there for posterity. We want, after 8 years, people continue talking about ODM. You see? Even when the founders are long gone. So, we will be there. ODM is going to be there. ODM will be there in 2027. And we'll cross the bridge when you get there. You see, politics is like wind.
Yes.
Inapita na upepo. But things change, dynamics change. But as it is now, we are where we are. We shall be where we are.
Right.
And we shall keep doing what we do.
The recent report by Tifa has said that ODM's popularity has waned. The poll is showing that the party's popularity nationally stands at a paltry 13%. How did you, as ODM, receive this news by Tifa?
I don't fault this. We like... we are always positive to any surveys that are carried out. And some surveys are also politically instigated to try and make the party look like it's now becoming a dwarf. We are still tall. Going by the party elections that we held, or show me any political party that has had the energy to hold party elections from the grassroots to the county level. It's only ODM.
Yeah.
So 13% is a no. We are doing very well as a party.
Right.
We also have our internal surveys that show that we are doing very well, and will not just depend on this paid out, paid for kind of surveys.
CT always reminds us that when you do such a survey, chances are you might be biased to your own interests.
Correct.
Yes.
No, we have independent pollsters that do these kind of surveys.
Okay.
From county to county, and that's why I said there are areas where we are not strong, like in the mountain. There are areas where we are very strong. You see, and we take it so positive. And where we are not strong, we don't shy away. We don't shy away from those areas. We continue going there. We have offices there. But then if you go to Nyeri town, you'll find ODM office there, despite our status in that region.
Actually, Philip, if let me give you a different perspective. The regions where we say politically ODM may not be strong is because ODM doesn't garner very many votes. But the energy that is taken to ensure ODM doesn't get votes is what tells me that it's actually a power to reckon with. Otherwise, it would be ignored. If that amount of energy was taken to ensure that the parties that fight with this particular party, if it employed that same energy elsewhere, they might actually do better than ODM. You do not fight someone you consider insignificant.
True story. True story.
Yes. You see, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
We are celebrating our 20 years anniversary. We were targeting to invite 20,000 delegates. Self-invited delegates.
What do you mean by self-invited?
Those who are willing to.
Are you talking about the celebration we saw in Kisii?
No,
or
in Mombasa.
In Mombasa, okay.
The main celebration. Actually, the main delegates, elected delegates, about 5,000.
Okay.
But then we said any other person who wants to join in this celebration on their own volition, we put out a portal and we requested them to fill their details to attend.
Okay.
Do you know, as at yesterday 5 p.m.
by COB,
it had reached 30,000 from across the country. People who are eager to travel to Mombasa to go and witness this historic occasion.
Wow.
Not just that it's about ODM, but it's about celebrating the party that has been there, and it's showing the way.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Philip. Unfortunately, that's all the time we had. But 10 seconds nakuuliza swali. ODM won't disintegrate soon. Wanga and Junet have declared, but we're seeing issues with your SG. Is this something that we should be worried about?
No.
Not at all, eh?
ODM.
I'll invite you here. We talk about that and much more. And perhaps kama unaweza kuletea SG pia akuja hapa tuweze kuongea naye.
Nitamleta.
Tuko na maswali.
Naam. SG is very charismatic. He'll come on the show and he likes engaging young people. He'll talk. Okay. He'll be here. Thank you.
All right. So this is it, man. As far as that conversation is concerned, but do stick around because in the next hour we also have another guest and we shall be getting deeper into that conversation as well. So don't go too far. We'll be right back. Here now though is the news with one Winnie Maganga. Winnie, take it over.
Traffic.
It's 8 o'clock.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. 4 people have died after a shaft collapse at a mining site in Kambi Karai area in West Pokot County on Thursday, October 2nd. According to police report, The quartet, comprising Silas Losenya, Jacob Sangana, Morio Akotopo, and 14-year-old Lopongon Lopakar, were buried alive after the mine caved in. Police officers were later dispatched to the scene after receiving an alert from an NPR officer. Kilifi County Senator and Senate Minority Leader Stewart Madzayo has called for urgent investigations into the death of a pupil, Ernestine Nzinza of Gongoni Primary School, who allegedly succumbed to corporal punishment in Kilifi County. While seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Education, Senator Madzayo said the incident raises grave concerns given the existing ban on corporal punishment in schools. Meanwhile, the family is seeking justice over the death, with a post-mortem revealing that Ernestine died from internal bleeding after a blow to the head.
Nikamuuliza vipi uendeleaje, akasema hata nasikia vibaya sana, hata sitaenda shule, nitaenda hospitali. Nikamwambia sawa basi, acha natoka na aje nje kuchukua nipeleke hospitali. Kumaliza hiyo, kwa asubuhi yake akapigwa mwalimu huko, ambao mwalimu basi mtoto amemalizika. Kutoka mwalimu mmoja hapo shule akalia. Alipolia wale watoto wakauliza vipi, ni nini mwalimu, mbona analia? Ambao basi kuna Ernestine ametuacha. Watoto wakasema ni yule mwalimu aliyempiga. Ni yule mwalimu aliyempiga. Aliuliwa na kitu gani? Anasema kichwa.
Tumetoka postmortem right now, na ripoti ya daktari imetoka, inaonyesha kwamba yule msichana alikuwa na internal bleeding kwa kichwa.
Chief Justice Martha Koome has issued a strong warning against corruption in the judiciary, calling on Kenyans to abandon the entrenched culture of offering bribes for services that are already free. She spoke on Thursday, October 2nd, 2025, while delivering the keynote address at the 5th St. Paul's University Annual International Research Conference. The Chief Justice emphasized that the judiciary has set up systems, structures, and mechanisms to ensure integrity in service delivery. She noted that everyday court users are reminded that judicial services are provided at no cost.
We must always say no to corruption. We've been trying to do that in the judiciary by setting up systems, structures, and mechanisms, including an address every day you come to court. There will be someone explaining that the services that we give are free. There is no room for corruption, and if anybody has asked you for money, it's a criminal offense.
A former Kenya Defence Forces officer has accused the military of unfairly dismissing him and withholding 1.5 billion Kenya shillings in terminal benefits. He says his 2018 dismissal was unjust and his repeated request for compensation was ignored. A former Navy officer appeared on Thursday before the National Assembly's Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, explaining that he was wrongly reported as absent without leave while hospitalized.
Like for my distant madam, it's just a decorated dismissal.
Mwoka ambaye alijiunga na kikosi hicho mwaka 2008 amesema analidai jeshi la taifa shilingi milioni 1.5 alizokosa kulipwa kama mshahara.
Been dismissed, frustrated, threatened. At time I was being apprehended by military police in the cells, just to make me, to create fear in me, to shut me up.
Robert Mugabe Jr., the son of Zimbabwe's late former president, appeared in Harare court on Thursday facing a charge of drug possession. The 33-year-old was arrested on Wednesday morning after allegedly driving the wrong way down a one-way street, court documents show, prompting police to search a blank sling bag he was carrying. Officers claim they found 2 small sachets of cannabis inside. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
A very good morning to you. Welcome back. This is Radio Generation 8:06 in the AM, the year of our Lord 2025. It is 3rd of October. Where are you? I hope you're listening to us wherever you are. And please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in to 88.8 FM in Nairobi and 90.7 FM in Mombasa. rgk.co.ke is our website where you'll get all the trending stories. And guess what? We're also live there. You can get to see and listen depending on your preference. Sansa. On YouTube, we are Radio Generation Kenya. Facebook as well, Radio Generation Kenya. On X, it is at Radio Gen KE. So on whichever platform you like to enjoy, by the way, you will find us there. A big shout out to the following folks who've been interacting with us online. We do have Maureen Kinyanju, we have Sonet Mwafrika Kev, we have the Kikombe kama kawaida, DMCK admin Wafula team, we have Kenson Mugolo, Norbert Owor, Sonet, My Take 2.0, Robert Tamara, Festi Royals, and kuna wengine. Yes. Thank you so much. So if I have not mentioned your name, pole sana, but we shall continue seeing and interacting with you. But right now though, introducing CT once again. CT, a very good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Paul.
We also do have the National Chair, Jubilee Party, and XPS in the Ministry of Planning. We have Mheshimiwa Saitoti Torome. A very good morning, Bwana PS, and welcome to Radio Generation.
Good morning.
Good morning to you too.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana.
For honoring my request that I come here.
Yes. We always are open to having these discussions that especially the ones that are helping in building the nation.
Sure.
Hiyo hakuna siku tatupigia simu tukwambie no. So karibu tena sana mheshimiwa.
Asante sana.
All right, let's get right into it. You being the National Chair Jubilee Party, you obviously have a lot to say about the party, and we've been seeing a lot. We shall be getting into that as we move on.
Yes.
But I'm also interested a bit to understand about your time at the Ministry of Planning. Maybe for the benefit of Kenyans, what are some of the challenges that you faced in that particular position? Because I'm sure there must have been many. Planning for Kenya is not easy.
It is true. Okay, I was actually a PS for 7 years.
7?
Yeah, that is from December 2015 up to December 2022. So those are 7 years.
Right.
And I serve as the PS for planning. Then I had also a privilege to serve as the PS for the Great Ministry of Defense, where I got to interact with the civilian staff in the Ministry of Defense and also the KDF staff. It was a good experience.
Yes. Must have been interesting. I didn't know when you're in planning you have to deal with such a broad JD.
I think maybe let me ask my question. What exactly do you do in that ministry when you are in planning? What does it entail? Because we hear of it. You only say Ministry of Defense. We understand defense is easy. Planning, it's very broad. What do you do in that ministry?
That's an important question. You know, unlike this time maybe when things have changed a bit, this country used to be guided by what we used to call the long-term planning, that is the Vision 2030. And Vision 2030 is actually supposed to come to an end by the year 2030. That's about
in another 5 years.
About 4 years. This is all coming to an end.
Yes.
Probably in the next 4 years. So our work as the ministry, as the State Department for Planning at the time, was actually to come up with the 5-year plans, which we call the medium-term plan. And the purpose of coming with those plans is to try and achieve the aspiration of Vision 2030. So we break, Vision 2030 started in 2008.
Right.
So we found that in order now for us to achieve what is actually aspired in the Vision 2030, we had, after every 4 years, we had to come with what we call medium-term plan. So the work of the State Department for Planning was to coordinate those plans. We make sure that every ministry had a role to play in implementing the Vision 2030. We used to track the changes. We used to do monitoring and evaluation to see whether we are on track with achieving Vision 2030, particularly the flagship projects like the SGR and many more. So our work was actually to coordinate that planning. Apart from that, as a ministry in charge of planning or a state department in charge of planning, we were working with other government institutions like the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, so as to provide statistics to assist in planning. And that's what became very important, especially after the devolution. We had to produce statistics for all the counties to use them to come up with what they used to call the county integrated development plans. So we used to guide them, we used to give them guidelines, we used to provide them with statistics, and also we used to provide government policies, intervention of policies on how we can move on, and that's why we used to have that's why we have an organization like the KIPRA. So that's what I was doing in planning. We also used to do some international work, like working with TICAD, that is the Tokyo Africa
Development Corporation,
Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific, whereby these developing countries, they come together, then they work with the European, with the big organization like the EU, to see whether they can actually have favorable trade with those countries.
Bona PS, I have a question in regards to what you just said. You know, that long-term planning. I feel like nowadays we do not have that long-term planning aspect in governance. 2030 actually, for me, is the only one I know. We know there are others that were formulated in the years before, especially when maybe President Kibaki, not Kibaki, but President Moi was in office. But 2030 is the one that perhaps every Kenyan knows. Why don't we have those kinds of plannings where we can say, for example, in housing, let's have a 50-year plan, and if it's transportation, let's have another 50-year or whatever. The very many aspects and facets of our governance. We don't have that.
Vision 2030 was very well crafted, and it brought about so many experts, and they addressed everything. And particularly, that's why, for example, you found during Kibaki's time, and also Uhuru continued with the same policy. There is what they call the enablers. Enabler is about developing things like the infrastructure, energy, because those are actually the ones which enable now economy to grow. Good infrastructure, energy, including even the ICT, the one we are talking about, the fiber optic, all those things started during the Kibaki time, and now Uhuru expanded them. That is so that long-term planning was very, very, very important, and it actually used to tie every ministry had a role to play, and that's the time. If you remember during Kibaki's time, we never used to take seriously planning, but now every ministry, every state department, every parastatals or government agency, it had to come up with a strategic plan. Then after coming up with a strategic plan, it draws its annual work plan from those strategic plan, and then now to ensure that all the government ministries and agencies are actually doing what they have committed in the strategic plan. That's why you used to find during those days issues of performance contracting was very serious, because when you enter into performance contract, you have to draw from your strategic plan, and then you say this is what we intend to achieve this year, and then you are even evaluated, and then you are rated.
So you come up with key performance indicators and ensure that you're adhering to those ones.
And the reason why that came, it is because if you go back to the history, and I know CT, because he has been here for long, he knows that. We used to have plans. The plans are there, yes.
We've always had,
but they are just plans which are just drawn, then they are kept in the shell, and nobody ever look at them. But when Kibaki came, and President Uhuru continued with the same, we had to make sure that whatever we have committed ourselves to implement, it is implemented, and we evaluate. And that's why even when I was in the State Department for Planning, we used to have a very vibrant directorate of monitoring and evaluation. Their work is to see, we committed to do this, where are we? So we used to do all that.
All the timelines.
You know, the stringent follow through that you're talking about, yes, one saw it, but it is not entirely correct to say that in the previous years plans were they were not all shelved or put in a drawer. Because if they put in a drawer, this country would have stopped functioning a long time ago.
But I mean, I was asking about, and perhaps he was referring to long-term plans.
Yes.
No, I can tell you can I clarify?
No, please clarify. Yes.
The reason why I used to say so, I remember when we were young, there used to be a government policy which actually was never implemented. That, you know, during those days, in the 70s and 80s, our focus was the year 2000. And there was a government plan that by the year 2000, every family or every household in Kenya will have a clean tap of water. Did we ever achieve that? It is because we never... Okay, it was a good plan, but we did not deliberately plan on how to achieve that.
We didn't strategize and document the strategies we had for achieving this with the milestones being put in place.
Yes.
That we did not do.
And that is now what we did after Vision 2030.
So when someone says by 2000 we shall have clean water in every home, they just said it without necessarily saying this is how we'll achieve it.
They did not put a mechanism or even allocate money to achieve that.
Okay, I get it now. I get it now. All right, interesting. I've gotten a very interesting perspective into your position. You were saying something before I cut you off.
That is why, you know, we used to have very good plans, even for livestock. But other countries like Botswana would come and benchmark with us. They come and take our plan, they go and implement them.
The same Botswana you've been telling me about.
Yes.
The same case applies to Singapore. We had a very good housing plan.
They came here and benchmarked.
They came here and benchmarked.
They went back and did it.
Yes, they did.
So that's why I was saying, where before we never used to be very serious in come to implementation.
Vision 2030 created a structure that enabled whatever plan we had not only to be implemented but to be monitored. So you could determine by this period of time this is where we've gotten to with this. By this period of time this is where we've gotten to. You talk about benchmarking. Rwanda, not very far from here, their dairy business, which is, if one could argue, as competitive as our own, if not more, the coffee business, they've come here and they keep coming here to benchmark.
To date.
Yes. Please understand that we have a research organization that for the longest time dealt with livestock as well as the agricultural produce that we have.
So that's ILRI, eh?
Yes.
And Calro.
These organizations, or these two organizations, they're now Calro, okay? Have over time come up with innovations that have been adopted by countries like Brazil and even Australia. Something as simple as grass, okay? Our findings have been profound. So it isn't as though it is always about Singapore and some other country. Even now, as we speak, it is a capacity that we have. But I had not understood what you were saying. When you have a plan and you do not give it the teeth and the wind to move, then you might as well put it in a drawer, because you will not be able to achieve what you wanted. Thank you.
Yeah, and actually when he said that they didn't allocate funds and they didn't put down a mechanism, then I feel like someone duped us somewhere. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about your mandate as the national chair of Jubilee Party, maybe so that we can understand the scope of your position in the party.
Yes, it is actually true. We had an NDC in May 22nd, 2023, where we were elected as the NEC members. I myself was elected as the chair of the NEC.
All right.
So you can see that transition from planning, PS planning, to chairman of a political party, and not a small political party.
Yeah.
Jubilee is a big party. So, however, we were not able to move because we had protracted court cases. There are some people who wanted to take over the party, and they were actually doing a coup. They removed the current party leader, the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, so that they could now, you know,
own the party,
and maybe negotiate for the, like what we call the broad-based government. Now that because it was a court case, it was a protracted court case. We had to look for our lawyers, and then finally we managed to get back our party.
Okay.
And now, after getting now back our party, we need now to sit down and plan for the party.
Right.
We recruit members, we organize, we establish structures as per the constitution, because we have a very well elaborate constitution.
Yes.
And then we recruit members, we open county offices, and not necessarily we want a party for posterity, not really to focus on 2027, but we want a party which is very strong, particularly grassroots offices are the most important. We need to establish them. We have our members, and then we articulate our agendas. Yes.
And you also recently had another NDC.
Yes.
On Friday last week.
Yes.
Was it? Yes, it must have been on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. How was that as well?
That NDC now came after now we had won the court battle. Now now as the leader of the party.
Yes.
The party leader called the delegates just to tell them his expectation, and also to recruit members, and then we organize ourselves.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're now as Jubilee in the process of organizing yourselves.
Just to strengthen ourselves. Yeah, because we have been a bit when you have a court case. You become kind of inactive, but now we are active.
Okay. And everything now is rolling quite well.
Yes.
Let's talk about the United Opposition, because Kenyans are seeing a lot of confusion, and we know that Jubilee Party is very actively still in Azimio, because they proclaimed, you pronounced that that last week, that Jubilee is very much in Azimio, and you're working within that particular coalition with the parties that are in that coalition. So Wiper, you're working with Martha Karua's PLP party, and Wamalwa's party as well. How is the partnership going on so far? Because from where we stand as Kenyans, we're seeing a lot of confusion.
I don't think there is a confusion. First of all, what I can start by saying is that if we go back to the history, particularly from 2002,
right,
general elections have been approached through coalitions.
Okay.
Remember the NAC coalition?
Oh yes.
Of 2002,
right,
which actually dislodged KANU from power. Then came 2007. The NAC coalition could not hold, so it is split. There was a very strong coalition led by ODM, and then there was the PNU, which assisted Kibaki to come for the second term. And of course, whatever happened after 007 election, everybody knows the post-election violence.
Oh yes.
Then we had 2013. Now it was Uhuru and Ruto coming together through a coalition. Uhuru was in TNA, and Ruto was in URP.
Right.
Then we came to 2017. We now had Jubilee coalition. Actually, Jubilee party was actually a coalition. So this issue of coalition has been defining our political direction every time we have an election. So in 2022, of course, there was the handshake between Uhuru and the then President Muigai Kenyatta, and we had Azimio. But Azimio was just like even Kenya Kwanza. It was a signed agreement of these parties. And when you have a signed agreement, there is even a clause which provides how this coalition can be dissolved.
Okay.
So when you hear our party leader saying that we are still in Azimio, it is because it tied us into Azimio. And we cannot just wake up one day and say that we have walked away. Now that we are headed for 2027 general election,
right,
another coalition is also being formed, the United Opposition, and Jubilee has been part of it, and there is nothing wrong in that. Yes, because in the first place we are also disappointed at Kenyans because of the way things have been run by the Kenya Kwanza government. So we would like to restore that dignity.
Raila Odinga, through his ODM party, were a very big friend of Jubilee Party towards the run-up of the 2022 elections. Then now we are seeing ODM is strongly making another friendship. Actually, they're not even. They have already made that friendship with the ruling Kenya Kwanza government.
Yes.
How does that make Jubilee feel? Because Jubilee really supported him in the last election.
Yes, we supported him, and then Azimio lost narrowly. But as we move on, the reason why Jubilee now is part of united opposition, it is because the Kenya Kwanza government has disappointed us. It has abducted our children. It has come with some policies that are not working. The economy is not performing well. There has been a lot of promises, but with very little delivery or very little fulfillment.
Right.
That's why we have come up with other like-minded parties, like the DCP, like PLP,
yes,
DAP, even the one that is led by the former speaker and also the former attorney general,
right,
DP.
Right.
DP, we know, is an old party. It was founded by Mwai Kibaki, by the late President Mwai Kibaki in 1992. So we have come together so that we can see whether we can provide an alternative, and we also get Kenya rid of the suffering that has been caused by this Kenya Kwanza government.
Yeah.
So we are still at the initial stage. Remember, as we talk now today we are almost coming to the end of this year.
Yes.
We have the whole of 2026 and we have the whole of 2027. And the city, because of his experience, I can tell you that even a month in politics is a long period.
It is.
So we are still at the formative stage.
You know, in the hour just before this one, we had a gentleman who is the director of communications in a different party, and he told us that his party, ODM, has a presence in 44 counties. How broad is the presence of Jubilee across the counties of this country?
First of all, let me start with the results of 2022 general election.
Yes.
Jubilee, just as our party leader, His Excellency, the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta said during the NDC, Jubilee is actually a national party. National party in the sense that during the 2022 general election, we got members of parliament across the country. We have a member of parliament in Bungoma. We actually swept the whole of Isiolo County, both the governor, the senator, the 2 MPs. And for the first time in the history of Narok County, we had a woman elected at a constituency as an MP, the MP for Narok North. She came with a Jubilee ticket. Why we don't have an MP? We even have an MP in Taita. We have an MP in Taita, Mwatate constituency. We even have an MP we have MP in Lamu, even the senator. We have a senator in Garissa. All those. So Jubilee is a national party, and because of that, Jubilee support is across the country, including even in Makueni. We have not Makueni but Kitui. We have an MP of Jubilee in Kitui South. So
Jubilee is a national party. There's no question about it.
Yes.
Why I ask is not that I doubted that it's a national party. No. That I don't. I'm asking because of just the question that always arises about the presence. How many counties in this country do you have offices in? That's really the question I was asking.
Now, before we established those offices, there was that protracted court case. So there was.
It was only settled this year. Tell us about the court case.
It ended. That's now history.
Yes, I want to understand the history. So with its end, what then is the situation of Jubilee? Because there were people who claimed to have been officials of Jubilee and who wanted to claim that they are the ones who owned Jubilee. So the court, what did the court find?
The court found that they could not they could not actually take over Jubilee using another box method. So they were found guilty, and then and the status quo was restored. The court proclaimed that the retired president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is the party leader of Jubilee, and even when he reconstituted a new NEC, now where he became the chairman, that one was also upheld by the court. So now we have got a NEC, the NEC that was elected in 2023, and the party leader is still the party leader. And now we have sat down and we are preparing, we are doing recruitment of members in all the 47 counties, and we are active.
The gentleman again that City referred to, that is Philip Etale, who was in the previous hour. There's something he said and I found quite interesting, and he said that right now there is a problem in the United Opposition in regards to the organization and how they project themselves to the public. They are not as vocal as they were, especially when Raila was the official leader of opposition, and they are not speaking in one voice. We have so many voices, and unfortunately they are not coalescing into a major one. Why do you think that is so? And yet we have all these very prominent individuals in each and every single one of those parties. We have former President Uhuru in Jubilee. We have former Vice President Kalonzo in Wiper. We have former Justice Minister Martha Karua, in PLP. We have former Minister Wamalwa, and these were people who have held and still hold high positions in this country in their own right, whether it's in their communities or nationally. Why are we not seeing that oomph that perhaps was there when ODM was very much into the opposition?
No, it is there. As united opposition, we are very vibrant. We meet, then after meeting we issue a press conference, and that goes on very well with the Kenyans, and we give Kenyans hope that the united opposition is an alternate to this corrupt regime of Kenya Kwanza. And we have also had rallies. We meet people on the ground, because being in the united opposition, just meeting in the boardroom and issuing statement is not enough. We meet the people. We have held meeting in Machakos. We went to Saikuru's Kalonzo's place, then we went to Machakos. Then from Machakos we actually had a very successful meeting the people tour all the way from Malindi. That's why it started. We went up to Mombasa, then we went to Taita, then we went to Kilifi. In fact, it was actually in Kilifi whereby, we are the people who broke the news about the death of Albert Ojwang, when we were actually addressing people in Kilifi. So we have opposition has been very vibrant, and because the opposition has been very vibrant and hitting at this Kenya Kwanza government, that is why they are in a panic mood all the time. They want to divide the opposition, because that is their scheme. The only strategy they have is actually to divide the opposition, and they are targeting the core of opposition, which is the mountain, because that's the mountain, that's where we have a lot of votes, or that's where we have a lot of votes. So we are vibrant. If we are not vibrant, they could not be panicking, including buying our candidates in by-elections. So it is because of that, it is because of the fact that we are vibrant, which is making them not to panic. Issue statement.
So, Bwana Chairman, it's interesting you've mentioned by-elections and the fact that perhaps there are some candidates that are trying to be swayed so that they can align with a certain direction. What is the role of Jubilee in the upcoming by-elections? Are you fielding any candidates, for example?
What we have agreed as united opposition, it is actually to support various parties. If, for example, we find that DAP, or even as it happened in the North, when we find that a strong candidate, in any case, even the former MP who was nominated as a minister, that he was on DP ticket. So we decided, why don't we support the party led by JP, Democratic Party? And that's what we have done, and we have done that in many other areas. So that is one way of demonstrating to Kenyans that we are still united.
We are in a very interesting situation here, because you say that the the strength of the opposition is in the mountain.
Yes.
We have a deputy president who is from what we call the mountain also. Okay? We have a very strong presence of individuals within the cabinet, principal secretaries. So if you talk about the political power structure within this very same party, the mountain is actually very well represented. I'm finding it is interesting because I'm trying to think back in history where such a thing has occurred, and I don't see it. Where you actually have an opposition in a region, because this is our politics, where a very sizable portion of those in government also come from that region. Yes. Wouldn't you say it's a very interesting situation that we find ourselves in?
Yeah, those are the dynamics of Kenya's politics.
And you know, actually now, this is just me asking for my own sake.
Yes.
We mentioned the top like five communities. You know, we talk about the Kalenjins, the Luos, the Luyas, Wakamba,
You've left out the Kikuyu.
The Kikuyus, yes, of course, indeed. How did they come to have those numbers? Is it because uko wanazana sana kuliko uko kwingine?
No. It isn't that. You're asking about the factors that give certain communities large populations.
Oh yes.
Let's begin by asking, what are the factors that reduce populations? In a time gone by, it was disease
and war.
Yes. So if you're in a place where you and your neighbors don't seem to get along, very many people will die.
Yeah.
And in some cases, people were assimilated. If very many of the men, because men around went to war,
yes,
what the community that won the particular war would assimilate your people. So you'd have a community that once existed, but you don't quite hear.
Yes.
But some were assimilated just through intermarriages. Okay. And those whose numbers were greater, which means one, wherever it is, we're a migratory lot as human beings. Wherever it is we migrated from, the numbers that we had kept population because we were not dying.
Yes.
Or you get to a place where you weren't fighting anybody, or you stop fighting, so you populated quite easily. Okay. Now, to understand this, you only need to look at the role that death plays when there's diseases rampant, and how it reduces the population. Look at what HIV did to, say, a place like Luo Nyanza.
Okay.
Just the sheer numbers of people who died. I'm speaking about it because I come from that region.
Yes.
Okay. Then something else came in which we had not anticipated. It's called family planning. Areas or communities that had proximity to urban areas after independence also had access to education, also had access to modern medical care. Now, the moment we started family planning, it meant people started embracing these changes and population started reducing. They didn't die. There was no war. People just started having fewer children. Then something else happened. It's called lifestyle.
Yes.
People decide that then they do not want children. That isn't quite rampant yet. But if you find communities where they do not have a problem with having children and they do not mind, or the Christian faith,
yes,
which now encourage many people to just have one wife. Other places didn't have that problem, so people had a multiplicity of wives. So again, they had many children.
Yeah.
Okay, now I am speaking anecdotally. I can give you stats to support it, but you asked the question. That is what happened over time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Can I also give my own perspective?
Yes.
That one, we have to understand that the creation of many African states was actually dictated by what they call the Berlin Conference.
Yes.
And look at a country like the East African countries, Kenya, particularly Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. We cannot say that like Kenya actually became what we call an organic state. That's where a country that developed. If for example, you look at Kenya, go to Western Kenya, we have the Luyas in Kenya and the Luyas in Tanzania, in Uganda. Supposing all the Luyas are in the same country, it could be very different. Look at even Luo. We have we have Luos of Tanzania and the Luos of Kenya.
And Luos of Uganda.
And the Luos of Uganda.
Yes.
Look at the Maasai. The Maasais go all the way up to Arusha, those sides of Manyara. All those are Maasais. if you go to even to a country like Zambia, there are communities that are found in Zambia, and the same communities are found in Malawi.
Okay. Same with Somalis.
Because what the Mzungu used to do, he used to come and put a, I think he was using a ruler in the map. Anachora Kenya, Tanzania. By the way, if you go to many border communities,
yes,
you will find that the Maasais, for example, they have their relative in Tanzania, but what separates them in the country. So the way the nations are in Africa, it was a deliberate move by the Mzungu. Because if for example, even like in West Africa, I think in East Africa we were a bit lucky because we were not even colonized by different countries. If you go a country like Nigeria borders with Benin, so you will find African communities in Benin, they now speak French, while because Nigeria was colonized by the British, the same community, they share the same ethnic language, but they speak French because they were colonized by France. The same ethnic community in Nigeria, they speak English. So you see how Africans were divided. So all these divisions we find in Africa, they were deliberately created by the colonial masters.
All right.
So even in Kenya, for example, you know why the Kikuyus will be more than other communities in Kenya? Because we were not a border community such that Mzungu anakuja anaweka mpaka Kiambu, hao wanakuwa a different country, and then those was so that's why they became a bit intact. Because we are far from a border. That's why we used to call it Sadro Kenya.
Yes. Okay. There's a question here, or it's a comment perhaps, but let me read it out loud. Iko wapi? In my honest opinion, this is now Sonnet, and in my honest opinion, there are too many political parties to keep track of, or to keep track of what the difference among them are. Apart from personalities, there isn't any clear-cut ideological difference amongst them. Over to you, Bwana Chairman.
I totally agree with that viewer. It is actually true. Okay, if you look at the history of this country, there was a time when we were suppressed, and then after the repeal of Section 2A in 1992, many political parties came up. And I personally, I have taken a keen interest on the political parties. Even like I have read a lot about the American political party system, and you will find that there are a few countries like America where, okay, I think people are more realistic there. They don't see the need of having so many political parties.
Right.
And US is one of the countries that has actually had two major political parties. In Africa, it's only Ghana. I think Ghana is a classic example where we have two major political parties. NPP and NDC, National Patriotic Party and National Democratic Congress, and they keep on alternating power in Ghana.
Okay.
Even in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
We have two major political parties, but in a country like South Africa, it was actually the dominance ANC because of ANC could not hold for a very long time. So, but now there are other parties have emerged in South Africa, so they have become kind of desegregated. But in Kenya, because the reason why we have the reason why we tend to have multiple political parties in Kenya. Okay, first of all, when we became multi-party in 1992, we had a long period where KANU was the dominant party and other political parties were actually banned even constitutionally by Section 2A, the one that we fought vigorously to remove it. So, from that, a lot of parties have actually emerged. But unfortunately, most of the parties in Kenya, they tend to be regional-based. And that is what has actually brought so many parties together. People have got their own reason why they form those parties. But I can clearly say that in Kenya, the political parties are they are choreographed on ethnic basis. And that is not, but I believe that is something that will not last for long. Maybe things are going to change, and especially with the Gen Z movement, where now people are going to concentrate more on the issues. And if, for example, we feel that these issue is uniting so many Kenyans, disregard their ethnic background. I think now people are going to collapse around that. I can, for example, give you why America has developed, why the two-party system emerged in America. It is because there was a very strong cabinet secretary in charge of treasury, Alexander Helmington. He himself, he was in favor of a strong federal government, and that one came after 1812 when they were involved in the America-British War. So they found that because the national government was not very strong, it could not even be able to raise a strong army. But then there were other leaders who felt that the state governments should be given more power, and they were led by the great thinker Thomas Jefferson. So now that one, you see, now they started disagreeing ideologically. Thomas wanted strong state government, while Alexander Hamilton wanted a strong national government which could raise army and which could control the state. So that one actually, now historically, if you go through and through, you will find that is what led into the emergence of the Republican and the Democrat. But the Republican also emerged because most of the Republicans were against slavery. Yes. And then they came together to fight against slavery. And that's why we had the Civil War. Because when Abraham Lincoln won in 1860, there was Civil War because the Republican Party was based on, it was an anti-slavery party. While in the southern states, because they were actually in the area where they were growing cotton, they required slavery. They required slaves because of their labor, for their farms and what have you. So those two ideologies, they actually formed those parties.
And the South was predominantly the Democratic Party. I'm glad you've raised that, because most people don't know that Abraham Lincoln was actually a Republican.
He was actually a Republican.
Yes.
And before even the Republican, they used to have what you call the Whig Party. And the Whig Party was also against slavery. But the Democratic Party that was led by a very strong president known as Andrew Johnson, he was very strong, and he brought the Democratic Party together. So because there was even a party known as Free Soil. Free Soil was also another movement which actually converted itself into a political party. Why Free Soil? Because they were also against slavery. So in 1858, around 1850, they came together, and then now that's how Republican was born.
But you know what is of interest is that it isn't countries that seem to have two political parties have two dominant parties. It's not as though there aren't other parties. There's a communist party in America, but nobody ever hears of it. So it has no significance whatsoever.
So let me tell you a secret. For Kenya, what I tend to believe, if we have maybe 2 or 3 parties, like ODM, Jubilee, and DCP, and then the other parties, if we have, if those parties can become very strong, they even institute democratic culture within themselves, then other small political parties will die a natural death. Because if you have do you know, I still believe there is no party in Kenya up to today which is as organized as, KANU was dictatorial, but it had structures and it was a very strong political party. They had members. Their activities were very well coordinated.
But Ndugu, they had no competition.
At the time when it was just one party,
they had no competition. But you're right, they were organized. They had structures. That is true. They did. They did.
But the other reason why we don't have very organized political parties in Kenya, it is because for us to have very strong political parties in Kenya, we need to institute what we call democratic culture in them. Because in those countries which are developed, for example, the secretariat or the branch are so strong such that they are actually the one which organize party primaries. In those developed countries like in the US, hakuna ati issue ya kupatiwa certificate under the table. You go for nominations.
But for the PS also, those political parties sponsor candidates. Here, candidates sponsor the party, and candidates sponsor themselves. Our parties, as you say, and this is where you are right, if our parties could restructure and become strong, so that it is not the party leader who is spoken of, but the party. There's a leader, yes, but the party has the mechanism and has the financial might to actually sponsor candidates, meaning you do not need to do whatever it is people do to raise money to stand.
Can I demonstrate that?
Yes, please.
I always give an example.
Yes.
With the mainstream church. For example, me, I'm a Catholic, and what the Catholic has done, if there is actually a religion that is devolving the Catholic Church, it is the people in the parish who organize themselves. They build a church.
Yes.
So first of all, they start by identifying a land. They buy a land. They build a church. They build the father's house. They buy a vehicle for a father. And it is because those people meet every Sunday, then they contribute, and then they come up with plans that way they organize service. There is no one time a parish can write to the diocese to seek for support. In any case, it is the opposite. They are the one who raise money, then they send the money to the bishop. Yes. So that's how I conceptualize political parties to mean in Kenya, whereby the people at the grassroots organize themselves. They build party offices, they elect officials, then they organize primaries, and then they send the results to.
So, Bwana Chairman, what is stopping us from doing that here in Kenya?
No, but we're already doing it. This is the point. We just haven't morphed it. Because as you're talking, I was thinking about the church I belong to. That's exactly what happens.
No, I'm talking about now political parties.
But that's what I'm saying. We are already doing it. These people who do this in churches are also members of political parties. Okay, some of them are even politicians, directly politicians. You see, it's not that we're not doing it. I would rephrase my question. How do we morph what we already do and we can see working? How do we bring it in the political parties? Because you have a pastor, you have a bishop, you have a presiding provost like in the Anglican Church, but it is not that person who does everything. Everything depends on the congregation, not actually him. He or she helps give direction. That's just about it.
That's how it should be. That's how a political party should be.
Yeah,
that's an excellent point. I had never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
It's an excellent
so
point.
Mheshimiwa, again, I'll ask the question. Why is it, maybe let me rephrase it then to ask, why is it not as perfect as what we see in the developed world?
For such a system to work, you require a lot of commitment from the leaders. And then, of course, in Kenya, we have kind of entrenched the issue of corruption culture. I know when we try to organize ourselves and raise money, of course, kutakuwa na watu watakuwa na mkono mrefu.
Ndio.
Ile pesa mnachanga ya kujenga ofisi, unasikia imekuliwa. So if we can remove this issue of corruption,
yes,
and we become selfless as leaders, things can flow.
How can we also remove personalities from being the definition of parties? Because in Kenya, and you will agree with me, political party ni mwenye alifungua ama mwenye alianzisha. For example, ODM is ODM because Raila is ODM and ODM is Raila, and Raila is ODM. Wiper, it is Wiper because Kalonzo is Wiper and Wiper is Kalonzo. Jubilee is Jubilee because President Uhuru is Jubilee. And so how do we change that narrative so that we can have, even in the absence of Kalonzo, Wiper will still have a strong leadership, a strong individual, and strong grassroots?
How we can actually do that? If, for example, I start a party, and when I start a party, they come to my place where I have an office. That now becomes the office that even when I am paying rent, I pay the rent for the enemy. So first of all, establish structures. And when you establish structures, if, for example, I donate a plot, if I donate my plot to a party, immediately that plot, the title should be written in the name of that plot. We go to the Ministry of Lands. Then napatiwa hiyo title. And it becomes the property of the party, not an individual. But if, for example, if I donate, if I say that, if, for example, today I have formed a political party, and this office, it is my personal office, but I converted it into a personal party. When I change it to another political party,
Unaenda na ofisi yako.
Naenda na ofisi yako.
Unafukuza wale walikuwa ngapo unaambia tokeni hapa.
So what I am trying to advocate, let us make parties strong institutions such that I know there is a lot of money which circulate in political parties, but if for example we have like ODM, we have an office in Kisumu.
ODM definitely has an office in Kisumu.
Do they have an executive officer?
They do.
Do they send money to them?
They do.
Do they raise money? Do they raise their own finances there?
I'm not sure whether no, I don't think they raise their own money there.
So that's why that is in fact we should take this issue of political parties a very serious thing. And that is why we need to establish very strong political parties. I think we have a problem. In Africa, I think we have a problem of community. Like even, for example, look at, for example, football clubs in Masanofan. So you find that a club was established in 1890 something. Why do we have very old institution in this country? For example, KANU was a very strong party. But then, when NAC came, it is actually the members of KANU who defected, they came to Nini. Why couldn't they stay there and establish the party?
Because KANU was Moi. That is the problem. It was Moi.
So, I agree with you. We should try to remove this issue of personality cult within our political party. That is where we can move on.
Strengthen our politics and the democracy in our politics enormously. If people raise money, and you've raised this point well, for their office in a particular jurisdiction, Kisumu is an example, the people will own that party. They'll know it is their party. And that party, the party structure, will then be of more importance than whoever it is who is considered the principal of that party.
Yeah, but for example, Tip was a Kalembendile's party. And then when he died, God rest his soul, I have never heard of Tip again.
Zipapa.
Yeah. Sasa Tip, and I'm sure it's still there. But you know, we never heard of it because Tip was Kalembendile and Kalembendile was Tip. We have the Honorable CS for Labor. His chama chake ni Chap. Aliingia serikali Chap hatujisikia tena. Sasa sijui, I don't know the future of that party, but perhaps we shall see it going forward. But you get my argument, Mheshimiwa. Yeah, so perhaps we need to...
What we need to do as a country, we should take this issue of political parties very seriously. Even when we have found the members, maybe strong individuals, they should actually now try to become hands of the now allow the party to grow in the grassroots without much control.
That requires a generational change. The generation of politicians who are now in charge will not do it.
But I can, for example, say at independence, I can actually say that at independence, our political parties were kind of they had an ideology, because KANU was for the national unity, while KANU favored a federal system of government.
Yes, they did.
But the only unfortunate thing about that, even the element of ethnicity was brought in, because KANU was supported by the big communities.
It was a them against us situation.
Yes.
KANU was the so-called smaller community. Yes.
One thing that is very clear, and you should actually accept that fact. For example, even where KANU was strong, like in Nyanza, and also in the central Kenya during those days, still maybe if you interviewed the people there are those who would have liked Majimboism, but now they could not identify themselves. So this issue of regionalism entrenched itself habitually.
And now we have Majimboism, don't we?
Yes, we do actually.
In the name of revolution.
In the name of revolution, but we have arrived there at the end.
Gentlemen, we have come to the end of the show. Thank you very much, Bona Chairman, for gracing us and for coming to have this very important conversation with us. We are taking a short break right now, though. When we do return, we shall be having a different conversation. That was Saitoti Torome, the National Chairman, Jubilee Party, and former Principal Secretary, State Department for Planning. Don't go too far. We will be right back.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio generation, the home of Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Kenya's auditing sector is mourning the loss of Deputy Auditor General Frederick Oloch Odhiambo, who died on October 2nd, 2025 after short illness. The sudden passing has been described as a major blow to the office of the Auditor General and the wider public sector auditing community. Auditor General Nancy Gathungu conveyed the news on Thursday, expressing deep sorrow and paying tribute to Odhiambo's dedication and impact. ODM Director of Communications Philip Etale has said the party will field candidates selectively in the upcoming by-elections, concentrating on areas where it has strong support while leaving other regions temporarily without candidates. He told Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast Show that the approach is part of a broader strategy to strengthen the party's presence and influence in regions where it is less dominant. He confirmed that nominations were recently held in Ugunja and Kasipu constituencies and added that ODM has candidates spread across the country.
We also fielding in Ugunja, right, where we had nominations last week. There was a Kasipu constituency. The nominations were held last week on Friday as well. There are other wards across the country where we are fielding candidates. They're spread out across the country. So we have candidates. There are areas where, in politics, just like in the UK, where there's red, blue, green areas. So there are areas where we may not be popular as a party. We opted not to field candidates.
The National Police Service has postponed the recruitment exercise, which was scheduled to commence today. The NPS said the move followed a court order halting the exercise. It said, together with the National Police Service Commission, that they are pursuing legal remedies to enable the recruitment to resume as soon as possible. This comes as Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen voiced strong opposition to the court order that suspended the nationwide police recruitment exercise, urging the judiciary to reconsider its decision.
I'm aware, of course, that there was a legal process in court, and one of the judges has given an order to stop the recruitment process. I believe that that will be sorted. I wish I would call the judge directly. I wish I would be allowed to call the judge directly to understand the consequences of a court order stopping recruitment of police that has never happened for the last 4 years, and how it is very critical for the safety of our country to recruit those police officers urgently, not just because of anything else, to secure our borders, because there are many police officers who have retired, some have passed on, and we need to replace.
Germany's Munich airport has reopened after several drones sightings forced it to close and cancel more than a dozen flights on Thursday night. At least 17 flights were grounded in Munich, affecting nearly 3,000 passengers, while the airport said it diverted a further 15 flights to nearby cities. On Friday, a spokesperson for German flag carrier Lufthansa said flight operations have since resumed according to schedule. There was no immediate confirmation of where the drones had come from. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. The time right now is 5 minutes past 9 o'clock. How are you doing? I hope wherever you are, indeed, you are tuned in and engaged, because I can see a couple of you have said very interesting stuff. For instance, CT, we have Festy Royals ambaye amenijibu hilo swali la population Amesema hivi Festi. The answer to your population is simple. Wealth my guy. Look at the Somalis and the Indians, especially the Somalis. I'm sure in the next 20 years they will be number one. It's all about wealth.
It is not. Wealth plays a very important part.
Yeah.
But it is not the most significant thing, because anything about population is always complex. It is not one thing. The well-being of a community, if there is a wealth disparity, and if you're just talking about wealth,
yes,
it will mean that many people are disadvantaged, and they will not be able to enjoy the benefit of the wealth, and that or the benefits that come with that wealth.
Yes.
If you look at some of the countries that have lent towards considering a more communal approach towards the economy, you're talking about, say, like the Scandinavian countries, that wealth disparity is reduced significantly. They have a very huge middle class, and the reason is because whatever wealth it is divided in such a way that nobody is left bare. Nobody is left without benefits. That's why you'll find there's free education, there's free medical care, there's free social support in the event that you don't have a job, and things like that. Because the wealth they have, they have a sovereign fund, but they also make sure that it is utilized and it is for the benefit of all the people that you have. Then there's the issue of disease.
Yes.
Then there's the issue of fertility. Then there's the issue that you mentioned of collaborations and wars that come into being when people have. Then you have disease.
Yeah.
All these things play a significant role when it comes to the sizes of the population.
Wacha tuchukue ka population kadogo kama the El Chamus.
Yes.
You know, if we were to look at why perhaps they are not as many as they are, karibu sana mheshimiwa. If we were to look at the you know, their population, why would we say that they are not as many as they are? Look at the Kurias, for example, the Teso community. You know,
it's not difficult to answer, because the Kuria, the majority of the people of Kuria in Tanzania, not Kenya.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
If we look at, so the populations are comparable to...
The population of the Kurias in Tanzania are more than the ones we have here.
No, but so if we were to take Kenya, Tanzania, the Kurias, yeah, tunaweza sema wanatosha na kama akina nani in terms of density?
Oh, my friend, I do not have the stats, but I'll tell you this. If you're talking about populations of communities that are in the border, when Roma mentioned it quite well,
right?
Okay, you need to understand that division first of all. Like asking me the question, the population of those Kenyans who are of Somali origin and those who are actually in Somalia, which one is greater? I mean, the population of Somalia is less than, they're around what? How many millions? They're fewer than we are.
Right.
But the population of the Somalis in the diaspora
is huge.
The people who claim it's probably even more than the people who are actually in
Somalia
itself. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is this: when people talk about populations in an African context, okay, it is good to point out the complexity to begin with, and then fill that complexity with why it is that those populations are the way they are. For instance, there's a community called the Ndorobo. Do you ever hear of them?
Well, I because of my interactions, yes.
Where are they?
Si wako huko karibu na Ethiopia. Ama Ndorobo wako wapi?
Bwana Yakora, Ndorobo wako wapi?
Ndorobo sio
coast. Badala ya kutucheka si tuambie mali wapi.
He is talking about the Duruma.
Duruma.
Yes, I'm laughing. You see, there are small communities whom you would not know about until and unless you ask the natives of that place. And somebody will tell you, I belong to this community. One, there are communities that have been absorbed by the larger community because they had a similarity of language. So you do not notice the difference. All right? For instance, if you go to a place like, let me talk about, say, a place like Meru.
Yes.
Right? You say there's homogeneity because they all speak one language. Someone telling me, I come from Chuka. I come from Taraka. And then you'll find that if that community is a border community, their language will have a dialect twist that some of the others who border others don't have. I'm simply trying to communicate that these are complex issues that should not be simplified.
So Ndorobo wako wapi?
Walikuwa wapi? Si hapa Central too.
Central Kenya?
Yes.
Ndorobo?
They were absorbed, yes.
Back in the days.
They were absorbed by what we know as the Kikuyu.
All right. Let's get down to business and have the conversation that has brought us to this hour. It is now 10 minutes past 9 o'clock, and we do have the party leader Farmers Party and the patron DCP in Nairobi. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Irungu Nyakera.
Asante sana, and there is a correction. I'm not in Farmers Party. I'm not the party leader for Farmers Party.
Okay.
So that was the former party leader. Now I'm just in DCP.
Okay.
And patron in Nairobi.
Party leader wapi?
Chama iko niko na wenyewe.
Kuna wenyewe wako huko sasa.
So you relinquish your shareholding.
I relinquish the party position.
Party positions come with shareholding.
All right. Sasa Mheshimiwa, let's get down to business. It's all about the politics of the mountain. There's been so much buzz about the mountain.
Yes.
Yes. And rightly so, because at the end of the day, by virtue of what we've just been talking about, numbers and population density, perhaps it's a very significant area in this country. So let's start from there. Why that buzz that we're seeing currently, apart from the obvious?
I think it's because of what you're used to, which is the politics of conmanship and politics of deception. Yeah. So the mountain is the victim of this, whereby they entered into a union in the last election, promised heaven, and nothing was delivered. And that's why they're unhappy, they're unsettled, and they're looking for change. And change will only come through a political process. And they feel that they are owed that because they voted by the numbers. They about 47% of the votes received by this government to win actually came from the mountain. So they feel that if they had put their weight behind a different candidate, then it's things would have been different. Would have won. Maybe things wouldn't have been different, but they would have been a different coalition.
Yeah.
So that's why now we are looking at what is that one thing mistake that we made. The biggest mistake is just about the political vehicle. Politics is about political parties, and then the coalitions that come with that. We entered into someone else's party, and it's like entering a bus for a vehicle where you're being given a lift. And if the owner of the vehicle tells you, by the way, tulikuwa naenda Nyayo Estate kule Embakasi, but we first have to go to KWS tuingie tuone wanyama before tuende huko, you have no say. Either you get out and look for a matatu on another route, go home, or you follow them. And the mountain all opted to get out of that bus. So it means that now when you're looking at politics and the alignments that have to come, is about now having a vehicle that then will carry the mountain votes for the next election.
The DCP party has been I'm looking for the right word, has been what? This is what? Is it blamed really? But imesemekana that DCP party is heavily tribal, and I was looking for the right, arrangement of words here, but
it's perceived to be.
Yes, to be heavily tribal, and it is because of also what the party leader has been saying, and of course even his lieutenants who've been going around the country. What would you say about that?
First of all, I was the chairman of political parties liaison committee, which brings about then we had 69 political parties. Now they have over 80 political parties. And you will find that there is not a single party that is national. Probably you can say KANU, because it has roots and it's all over the country. But all the other parties actually are national in what they say, but otherwise they are regional political parties. Even ODM is a regional political party. It's in Nyanza, that's where there is, and then you find that pockets of coast, because they don't have another political party, are the ones that they take. If you look at
you are a man who understands this thing well.
Yes.
Educate the public correctly about political parties, because one, by the time a party becomes national in this country, we recognize them as having people who are elected in different regions of the country. In some regions, they'll get more people than others, but the support base is tribal and it is regional. Okay?
Yes.
So KANU in the previous hour, talking about it, had no choice because it was a dictatorship.
Yes.
So it's not as though you had choices of going to other party.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it had to be representative
nationally.
Yes,
it was everywhere.
But if you look at even a party like Jubilee, okay, were you not a member of Jubilee at some point?
I was.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It was a national party.
It was a national, but with a regional, the support base.
That's the Kenyan style of
politics. Exactly.
That's where the base is, and you'll find other regions outside its base where it has a fair representation.
Absolutely.
And they get votes. There are others who during the season will vote for them, during another season will move elsewhere.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So when you represent, you have to give that. It's not a disclaimer. The details of the facts that this is how it is. Because Wiper, first of all, look at even the organization of Wiper. All right, look at the people it has, the people it has had as members of parliament or elected leaders across the country, their secretariat. Bonerungu, those are the things that we must tell the public so that they understand that these parties may have a leader who comes from a particular region, but there are other people within that party who don't come from that particular region. So they are representative.
Exactly.
No, please
continue. And that actually, it takes me to my conclusion. That actually also explains DCP. Because if you look at the leadership of DCP is actually the face of Kenya. But if you look at the support base for DCP, it's from Mount Kenya. But with all these by-elections that are coming up, actually from here we have a meeting at the DCP headquarters for the by-elections, to discuss the by-elections and to receive all the candidates who are running in those by-elections. They are across the country. So yes, it has a heavy base in Mount Kenya.
Yes,
but it remains a national party like all the others.
All right. How have you determined who's going to be, like for example in Banissa? Do you have a candidate in Banissa? I interviewed someone here a couple of weeks ago. I think it is Adan Mohammed, if I'm not mistaken. Is he still the DCP candidate there, or how do you determine? Even in the other positions that are available, how will you determine?
I think he murifed. That's what they say. They think murifed. But
right. I mean, it's politics.
It's politics.
Nani kawaida.
And the deadline is not.
Ni life. So how is DCP determining who's going to be in which position?
For the candidates, it's one is of course the candidates who come to us, and they have to be strong candidates. They have to display the ability to actually win. We don't want to field candidates where we have no chance at winning. And then secondly, it's where we have more than one candidate. Then we are also able to either reconcile the two if there is any way, but otherwise just have nominations. And there are plans for nomination in certain areas, and that's actually one of the discussion points we are going to be having today. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
And we hope we hope that we shall see women in those particular positions, because that has been a very interesting conversation to have,
but not just for DCP, for all parties.
Of course. No, we are not saying that ikuwe DCP peke yake, ya kila mtu. The youth vote, which is a very significant one, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been very passionate on matters youth. What is the strategy as far as that is concerned, and not just for by-elections, but going forward as DCP?
I think one of the units that he created when we launched the party was actually the youth wing. And the one that has been most active has been the youth wing. If you saw the ones who are taken by the government and labeled terrorists and put in prison for weeks on end were all our youth leaders from the Kiambu, the National Youth Chair, the whole group of about 5 of them were the ones who were called terrorists and taken to court because they had already started. They were getting very serious mentorships and support from the party by being sent to different meetings, being given opportunities to speak, even at rallies and all that, which is really the only way of building leadership. And that's just, DCP is only about 5 months old, and this is what we have seen to date. So the intention is actually to create and build leaders. If you look at some of the people who you see and you think DCP, people like Senator Medhops, people like Malala, Karungo, these are all young people. Yeah, so again, DCP is about getting the youth leadership, which is the next generation.
Lawyer Ndego Anjiru, I believe, is deeply entrenched into DCP. Did say that former CS Matiang'i is a mole. So I don't know, was that his personal opinion or was that the position of DCP? Yeah.
So Ndego Anjiru is in opposition, but he's in Wiper. So he's not in DCP, but I think his sentiments, he was made to withdraw that statement by Kameme, which he did and then posted on his Facebook a week later with caricatures of Matiang'i as a state machinery. And I think it's probably is necessary banter for when you see someone not necessarily making decision, prevaricating, and is unclear what he wants, who's guiding him, what. So I think if in that case you kind of step back to be able to understand that person, and more so because the current political climate and the leadership in the administration is one that will do anything, absolutely anything, and to win the next presidential election. And if that means planting malls, if that means buying people, if that means stealing elections, I don't think there's anything that they're not ready to do. And that's why everybody in the united opposition has to be very careful in terms of who do we engage with and what exactly do we tell them.
Right. Explain this to me. Why does the opposition call themselves united in everything that they do? Shows that
united opposition.
Yes. Why do they call themselves the united opposition when there's very little to show in this unity that you speak of?
They all say one term.
So that is what unifies.
United in
they say even in a marriage, it's not necessarily put together because of love or held together because of love. Mambo mengine mengi. So yao ni one term.
One term.
So tunasema one term, and whatever it takes for one term to happen, they are willing to sacrifice their personal ambitions to deliver the one term. They know one thing. The reason why they are called united is because they know that they cannot go to the ballot as 2 or 3 candidates. It will only be one. That's why they're united. So in the meantime, we have 2 years before the election. Everybody is allowed then to sell their agenda, to popularize themselves, popularize their political party. Because beyond the presidential ticket, DCP wants to have MPs. DCP wants to have governors, wants to have senators. Myself, I'm a candidate for Nairobi gubernatorial seat, and I'm running on the DCP ticket. So DCP will want to be a popular party, so that even when Nyakera is running in Nairobi, people understand DCP and know DCP, and they resonate with DCPs. So and that's why each of those candidates, you saw Martha Karua also announcing her bid that she'll be running for president. The same for Rigathi, the same for Kalonzo. I have not seen the Mulembe Nation, anyone come out yet that they are running, but we do have partners in the Mulembe Nation.
They're running. You just haven't seen them yet, but they're running.
They're running.
Yes.
We are waiting.
But he said, in his defense, he said he has not seen anyone declare.
They're running. We just haven't seen them, but they're running.
But we would like them to run also during the day.
I would assume that former CS Wamalwa, perhaps from DAP, is the front runner. As far as the united opposition is concerned, from the Mulembe.
Yes, he's a party leader for DAP, so he makes
automatically.
Yes, but also the others, they all have to. It's them to say. They might be the one who's
also like
to see assume. Si mimi was a party leader for Farmers Party, but nimekuja nikaondoka nikapewa wengine nikakuja to DCP.
Salamu zikufikie from one Lewis Brown saying good morning Radio Generation, salute to Master Wanai Irungu Nyakera. Is that Master Wanai? Is it a thing?
Yes.
Hao ndo wamekupatia.
Hao ndo walinipe. Hao ndo walinipe, walisema mimi nakaa Master Wanai. Na mimi nikaitikia.
What do you think what would you do differently in Nairobi that is currently not being done or is being done and you just want to do it differently?
I think everything. To be honest, because it's about leadership. The leader is the one who sets the tone. It's called the tone at the top. If the tone at the top is that corruption is okay, We don't have to have a clean city. We don't have to pay salaries on time. We don't have to do any infrastructure. People can buy boats whenever it rains. We don't need to sort out the drainage. Health is not important. We don't need to have drugs in the hospitals. Corruption, if you're not paid your salary, you can pocket your money. If that's the tone that has been set at the top, then unfortunately that will be cascaded down to all the different levels. You see, for Nairobi, there was, during this first Senate, which I remember Kembi Gitura was a deputy speaker. He introduced a bill to actually make Nairobi, to remove Nairobi from devolution and make it governed like the Washington.
Something we actually agree on this show.
Yes, it made sense. And the reason why it made sense is then that Nairobi will be managed by a manager, not a politician. But the thing is, even through the political process, you can still get a manager to manage Nairobi. We've seen it before. It's worked somehow. We've seen other counties where it's they're done by managers. And a manager is somebody who understands that they do not know everything, that they need a team to deliver for them, that they actually need to sit in their office sometimes from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening, holding meetings, meeting stakeholders, reading briefs, giving directions, that they actually need to sit through the strategy meetings and and looking through the midterm reviews and looking at what did we intend to do, how far have we gone. And unfortunately, a politician won't be able to do that. What the politician sees is, how do I get the votes for the next election? If you look at Nairobi, for example, they've been 3 months now without salaries. The biggest issue was that by the time the governor took office, the payroll budget was about 6 billion shillings. Now it's 17.3 billion. 3 years into it, he's recruited an additional about 8,000 people during that, in his first 3 years. Why the 8,000 people? A lot of them to fight his political battles.
6 billion
to 17.3 billion.
Payroll,
yeah. That's why they can't pay. That's why they can't pay.
6 billion.
Yes, to 17.3. Now it's 17.3. The Auditor General raised it as a big issue.
No, I'm wondering, this amount of money,
that's more than double.
No, the account is
it's triple. It's actually 3 times.
The account is who, when the equitable share they get from Gava is less than that 6 billion.
Yes.
And then these fellows have a payroll. Where are all these people?
17.3. That's why they can't pay. Yeah.
Where are all these people?
You see, like, for example, the Green Army.
You're asking where these people who've been employed.
Forget 17. You have to justify a payroll of 6 billion.
You said that.
No, even forget the 6. Because that is what was, as of June 2022, was 6 billion. Now it's 17.3 billion. As of June 2025,
that's 3 times.
Was 17.3 billion. And that explains why, even in terms of the recurrent, so they're supposed to pay about 1.6 billion per month, and the recurrent, the collections by the county is 1.4 billion per month. So essentially, even if they were to collect all the money, they cannot even pay salaries.
Can't pay.
They can't pay salaries. So they have to wait for the government, national government monies. And when those come, a lot of it they've organized for themselves pending bills to pay, which are priority, or buying bulls at the ASK show. So those the priorities are completely upside down.
So what you're saying is that if you succeed in becoming governor, you'll fire all this. You said 8,000 people.
I didn't say fire.
I didn't say they'll fire them. One is, you need to figure why were they hired. Because the streets haven't changed. It's still as dirty as it was. Garbage is all over. So I have not seen, in terms of services, I'm a consumer of services in Nairobi County, as a Nairobian, and also as a business person in Nairobi. There is something small that I needed done at City Hall, and it took, which was actually part of paying for services, to just changing the OTP from one phone to another. It took us 3 weeks, to to get that done. Yeah, with my person there almost every day to the office where he goes, he's told it's not a priority, and without paying for the service, then they cannot, we cannot proceed with anything. And that's just a small thing, which is 3 weeks. Yeah, and yet you've added 11 billion in payroll. Yeah. So what exactly? Who are these people?
Yeah. You said he has hired about what 8,000.
Yes.
You know,
Okay,
8,000 people should be visible.
No. The 8,000. Is this a number that can be verified?
Yes,
physically?
yes. Actually, I'll even show you. Even it was even covered by NTV.
Yes, but are there people you can count? 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's what I'm saying.
8,000.
You know, 8,000 people should be visible in the streets of Nairobi.
I spoke with them. We had actually a very heated discussion with one of them. And
with one of who?
The officers at the county, who told me that they can verify.
Of course, they will say they can verify.
Yeah,
but can they?
Is there evidence that that verification actually bears a resemblance that is close to?
Is it a legit?
I will share with you the video. This is actually the video that was
you
there.
Share it with me.
So it moves 3 times from it was initially the 6 billion, then it went to 11.3 billion, then now it's 17.3 billion, and so the workers have gone from 5,771 to 16,600. So from 5,777 in June 2022 to 16,321 in June 2024. This is from the Auditor General. I'm not making up. Yeah, he knows. Yeah.
All right. Sawa. That's about Nairobi, eh?
No. Because what you're saying, Banairungu, is that the culture that our counties have of making the counties an employment bureau is something that you are going to put a halt to.
I did it at Kemsa. I'll do it here.
Kemsa is a small entity.
No, but I did the same. You remember when I got to Kemsa, we had staff who are working from home. You remember I came to your show.
I recall vividly, and we had very many discussions around it.
Yes. And I made those changes.
I am not belittling what you did.
Yes, no, I'm saying the same, yeah.
I am saying every institution in this country, especially if it's a government institution, will have its politics.
Yes.
And you had to knock heads to do what you did.
Yes.
And there were consequences to what you did also. Okay? Is that not so?
Correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
In fact, the sign that what you are doing was actually done was the consequences that followed.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Now, if that was Kemsa, what I'm really saying is the county of Nairobi. Because you're talking about 16,321 people who are now, who think, we are told they're employed. I'm saying it's a Kenyan problem because this is part of the discussion of ghost and phantom workers that we are always talking about.
Yes.
I was giving my brother here an example of how in 2016 we were told, you can look at it and find out who the Minister for Education was then, that they had discovered 1,000 ghost schools. Not one school was mentioned. Not one. We never knew which schools they were. There was a smattering of pictures during an election of a school which just had a board, and there was also a discussion of schools are also voting centers. Okay. Now, what am I saying? I am saying we are not discussing employment. We are discussing an enterprise that has been created specifically to find a legal way of moving money from whatever coffers the county has supposedly into other people's hands. How do you change the culture of an employment bureau, which is what many governors believe a county is? How do you change that idea that your job is to try and look for as many jobs as you can for people, as opposed to telling us how it is you're going to grow the economy of the county?
You see, that's because you are lazy. Because growing the economy is the hard part. Just waking up and saying hire 1,000 people is the easy part if you're the governor. It just means you move money from health budget to you say these people are still to be paid under the health budget, but we won't buy drugs. Yeah. You just say schools, hii mashini ya chapo haitakuja, so andika watu wengine. Yeah. So so it's the easy part, yeah. But for you to create real opportunities, you need to empower businesses, because it's not the government that actually needs to hire most people. It's the private sector that needs to hire more people. It's for you to look at, how do I ensure that the markets are working? Yeah. How do we remove the garbage from Muthurwa so that people can start coming back to Muthurwa market to buy the stuff? How do we allow do we create the back routes of Nairobi which are no longer operational, put in some money, put in stalls and move the hawkers there, so that people can actually now go there to buy their wares from the hawkers, pave the streets, create, put up the lights, put up toilets, and these are things that are already in the plan. Yeah, even they've been budgeted about 260 million for that money, which was already taken and eaten by somebody, and there are no stalls that have been created. So there are so many things that, if you really indeed want, look at the bus station. When I was the PS in transport, the bus station was one, I'm the one who introduced NAMATA, who signed the NAMATA, the Nairobi Area Metropolitan Transport Authority. One of the hubs that we wanted to create for matatus was actually the bus station. And the bus station, for us to do that, was actually to put to put up a few layers, levels, which brings in you end up having more stalls for business people. You have cafeterias for people to even wait as they're waiting for the buses to come, and all those things. Actually, the plan is there. You know, for you to actually deliver in this country, Kenya, or in this county, you actually don't even need to do much. There's a plan for absolutely everything.
You just need to follow it. All right. So we have a listener here. Amesema, salute to my good friend Master Wanai. Currently, I'm speaking from Nyeri County, and I ask, do we really believe that political parties will solve the menace of poor leadership in this wealthy nation of ours, and more so in Murima? As an aspiring MCA for Kamakwa Mukaru Ward, I have seen how parties often sieve out true servant leaders and leave us with filtrates. Leaders who serve not the people, but dealership servants. So can we start with the first part? Ask, do we really believe that political parties will solve the menace of poor leadership?
I think it's not the political parties, it's the individuals, all of us as Kenyans, because we do also have a right to reject individuals who are fronted by political parties for better individuals. Yeah, I ran for governor in Muranga County in the last election, and I went with Farmers Party, and we fielded many other candidates across the country with Farmers Party. Some of them were very good candidates who lost in the nominations for the other parties, and they felt that they've been robbed their victories. But then the wave was such that people still went with those candidates from the popular party at that point, and ignoring the individuals who actually they believe had the capacity to actually deliver. So I think I put it that yes, the party can, and we do know that there are some parties that
the same party that is robbing individuals the opportunity.
That's what I'm saying. The party can, but in most cases it doesn't, because they also go with who do they believe or feel that has been with them in that journey, and who do they feel that the party is also one voter. You can also imagine that it's 1 or 10 voters who are there in the party, and they don't have the feel of the entire country. So they might operate from propaganda or from based on who is able to reach them before the others, and the campaign strategy that everyone has. But it is for us as Kenyans, when we are presented with candidates, we don't look at the party. Let's also look at the candidates themselves, what their track record, because the biggest thing that is failing us, the biggest issue is that we vote purely on emotions. Where you come and you say, we have these two good candidates, this one is a graduate, he's run this business, he owns these matatus, he's been championing for our interests, but this one is mtoto wa single mother. Wacha tupatie mtoto wa single mother.
But that's logic, Irungu. That's not emotions. They looked at this thing and they've deduced and said, but who's single mother?
You see, huyu mtoto wa single mother, what you're doing for them is you're getting them a job. Yeah.
Yes.
This other one, you are getting yourself a job.
Yes.
Yeah. So we should go with getting yourself a job, not getting that individual. Hata afadhali uambie huyu mwingine ukishapata kazi andika huyu mkazi.
Hiyo ni kuvote na emotions. Sasa ukianza kuangalia ati siti juu ati amepoteza mkono moja acha nimpatie kura. Hiyo si logic.
We have to move away from
when
that.
you arrive at determining that this is the person you want to vote for, you are thinking it through. It isn't as though you wake up and you have this euphoric feeling and you want to vote.
It is euphoric. It is the euphoric feeling.
Had you been elected governor of
Nyeri.
No.
Was it Nyeri Murang'a?
Why are you taking this person to Nyeri?
Sina confirm tu bro.
Na nimesha kuja Nairobi.
Yes. Na ni mtu hapa hata usikini mtu anai. Bro,
master anai.
Master bwana si mtu. So had you been elected, would you then be saying the same thing you're saying, that people vote emotionally?
If I was elected with Farmers Party, no.
Why?
Because as I say, for people to elect me with a party that is not the popular party of the day, it means that actually they made a rational decision. Look at someone like Nderitu Muriithi. Nderitu Muriithi was elected in Laikipia as an independent candidate.
Yes, he was.
And he did like 2-3 times more than the guy who was before him. But when it came to the next election, he was told either now join UDA or we remove you and bring back the one who had done nothing before you. And he didn't, and that's exactly what they did. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's completely emotional. Yeah.
You don't want us to prosecute this issue. What you're saying has been said by other people.
Yes.
There is an element of euphoria in the way we vote. But I am of the persuasion that actually there's a rationale behind it, and that's what we must understand.
A rationale behind the emotion.
Yes, there's a rationale, and a rationale involves logic and it involves thinking. What am I saying? I am saying this. When, say, for instance, you come from a place where people vote in terms of not tribe but clans or communities, or you come from a large community, okay? This large community, let's take two scenarios where this large community has very many people who are educated and they're known. Another one has a large community but they're not as educated as this smaller community. Now, if I give you that scenario and we talk about an election outcome, okay? In one, there are very many people who vie for the election. The person who belongs to the larger community gets in because these fellows have gone and divided the votes. The scenario I'm painting is one of President Moi. When multi-party came in, very many people would vie for the presidency, divide the votes, and with 30-something%, the president, 30, in fact, never got to 40, 35, 36, 37, 38, he'd end up being president. On the other hand, why do you think? Because there's logic behind this. The logic was, if our person is voted in, that is the logic we use in many instances when we vote. It is logic. When many people do it, then we then say that their emotions are involved. And I'm saying, not entirely. There is logic. There is the understanding that if our person, now you can morph that our person term to a place like the city and say, this person represents an idea. That's our person also. But the thinking that goes into what you're referring to with emotion is logical. If this person is voted in, I'm likely to benefit more. It's logical. If this person is not elected, then all the harm that I have previously seen will go away because this person doesn't benefit me. It is the logic of our political parties and the leadership in our political parties. And that is why the base from which very many people begin their politics is a support base which is from people who speak the language they speak. It's logical. Okay? The wave that we talk about comes in now when you're talking about a presidential race or a gubernatorial race like yours. Okay? Where now you don't whip people on your performance, you whip them on our person. Okay? Now, so you're saying in a city like Nairobi, how many people are going to refer to you as your person, and it involves them divorcing you from the tribal person that we all have. Now, how does that then work? Because you have to come to a city like this where there are many communities represented. Again, that logic I'm telling you, you'll have to persuade other communities to see the point of view that you have, and you have to convince them that they will actually they'll benefit from your presidency. Now, the point where you come in is where you say, but if there's a popular party, it'll sweep and it'll win the day. In a big city, not necessarily. It is a question of, again, who has the instruments of state that can shift elections. So what am I doing? I'm painting a picture which tries to get to this thing of when we say people vote emotionally. That's the question I'm asking. What
I want to ask you the same a question in regards to that line of thinking. When President Kibaki was voted in 2002, was that victory a logical one or was it an emotional one?
It was logical.
It was logical.
And emotional. It was logical.
It was both.
It was both. 24 years of a rule, people were tired.
So would you say it was more emotional or more logical?
No, it was logical.
Because you can't say it was 50-50.
It was logical. No, I'm not saying, when I say both, let me explain what I mean. There are people who wanted Moi out because they felt he had mismanaged the government. There are those who felt they need to vote for Moi because he had been a good president to them. Only problem is Moi wasn't standing in 2002. It was Uhuru. So what they wanted, if they wanted to vote for Moi, they would have to vote for Uhuru. Now, 24 years of anybody being in power, believe me, it doesn't matter whether you did good or not, they will not want you. Now, to understand my logic, Kibaki gets voted in. Huge margin. Within 2 years, Kibaki is unpopular. And people are actually saying they want Moi back. I'm talking about the same voting population. We have a referendum, Kibaki loses. Okay? Yet, Kibaki is the one president who brought sanity into managing the government.
You know what?
Clear sanity.
Let's resolve this conversation.
That's the point I was even talking about in terms of manager and politician. But you see what usually happens is that when you have the presidential candidate and he goes to the base and says, I know you guys have already agreed you're voting for me. Yeah. But if you vote for me alone, then I will not be able to deliver. You need to give me foot soldiers, yeah, so that I can have a governor that I can work with to deliver. I can have members of parliament in the house to be able to pass my bills. So you see, that's how they galvanize people to the one political party, yeah. And so people, because of the euphoria, and that's why I'm saying it's it's really heart of a mind, yeah, because they now rationalize it for themselves and say, okay, now if we vote for him and we don't give him anyone to work with, then he'll be impeached.
My point, they reason it.
Yes, they rationalize. First, it starts with the emotion, but you say we are humans. We also want to feel that we are right. Yeah, we are doing what is right. So you rationalize it. You rationalize even a bad decision. You rationalize stealing by saying, I am really hungry. If I don't steal, I will die. So let me go steal some food. So that you stole is still illegal and it's wrong. Yeah, but you've rationalized it to yourself, and if you go to court, you'll say the same thing. Yeah, and they might be a bit more lenient.
You know the reason why I'm saying this, Irungu? You want to vie for a seat in this place.
I am running. I'm vying.
I said you want to. That's what I'm saying. You want to. You do want to run.
No, I'm running.
He's already running.
Want to.
What is the question?
My question is this: how do you escape the tribal tag that your party has? Because it's a tag.
You see, I don't need to escape it. I need to look at how do we get people to see me beyond the tribal tag. And Nairobi is there's no single tribe that is majority. Yes, the Mount Kenya population is the largest, but does not have the majority. So for you to win, you cannot win with one tribe. You have to win with everybody. You have to. So for us in the United Opposition, we'll have one candidate for Nairobi. In the United Opposition, we'll have Kalonzo, the Kamba community is there. We'll have the Eugene, the Luya communities. Yeah.
In terms of politics, it's not Luya, it is Bukusu.
Yes, it's Bukusu.
Oh yes, it gets granular when it comes to that.
You have
the Maragodis have their own leader, the people from Kakamega have their own leader, the people from Busia have their own leader. Yes.
Ni tricky.
Yeah, so you have the Natembea. So essentially, within the United Opposition, once you're fielded as the one candidate, then you're not seen as tribal, because when Kalonzo goes to his rally, he'll talk about you. Yeah. When Malala goes to Westlands or to Kangemi or wherever, he'll speak about you. So people will still see you beyond that lens. If you look at someone like Sonko got more votes than Uhuru. He got 870,000 votes.
Got more votes than Mudavadi.
He got certainly. I was counting the one who was. I'm saying for Nairobi.
I'm just saying
he got more votes in Nairobi than Uhuru did, because he got all the Jubilee votes, and then he got all the Kamba votes. Yeah, look at Sakaja. Same. UDA only has.
From what I have seen, Sonko is one of the very few leaders I have seen who appeals to people across parties, and it's
across religions,
across
everything.
It's actually amazing. He actually does. He is voted for as Sonko.
Yes, but even for that, Kidero got votes from all of the ODM. Yeah. So Sonko did not get so the only votes that left ODM.
Sonko got Luo votes, chief. If you know Sonko's circles and the people who are around him, you will be amazed at even the mixture.
He got some, but the majority still went to Kidero. Majority of the Luo votes were the same way that Kidero still got some Kikuyu votes, but the majority of them went to Sonko.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I believe that. You know, I'm telling you, I'm sure. I'm not sure. Kidero did get votes. There's no question about it. That's how come he was even governed in the first place. The point I'm trying to make is, somebody who has a universal appeal like that.
Yes.
I'm asking the question, how does one get to be that? How does one? Because, in my opinion, if Sonko had gone and stood in Mombasa,
he'd have won. He'd have won.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone is answering your question, CT. That is Langatu Msema Ukweli anasema, you can't compare Governor Sonko to any other leader. Sonko serves and helps all Kenyans regardless of tribes. You have seen him being recognized in the UK recently. Sonko has no tribal tag. He is tribeless.
That's the point. That's what I'm asking. He has that tag. Yes. He has that tag. And I'm trying to look and trying to think which other leader has that tag. It's very difficult to come across.
No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And that's why, because even Raila has it. Yeah. So Sonko, his is unique.
Yeah.
But because he's an outlier, then we can't really base our argument on him.
Right. There's a question here, and it's about youth inclusion and IBC. IBC recently started registration on Monday.
Yes.
But they are complaining, okay, well, not complaining really, but the statistics point out that the young people have not yet come out really to register.
Yeah.
Is that something that we should be worried about?
For sure, we should. We should be worried, and we should be asking the questions of why. Okay, it's still too early. Plus, it's continuous voter registration, so it does not end in a month. You see, some people have been lying to them that it ends in a month. It's a continuous voter registration. It will be going on for the next 2 years, or at least a year and a half. Until now, the voter register is closed for cleaning and then for publishing. But we have also not seen much publicization. Publicity about the importance of people registering, but for us,
wanangojea pesa,
and you need to ask yourself who's giving them money. The person giving them money, does he want young people to register? Okay. So there are so many dynamics around it, and so it has to be the young people calling themselves for a meeting and saying, guys, we want change in this country. We don't have to be raising money to build TikTok hospitals ourselves. We can. The state is the one that's supposed to be doing this. It's the county's business to ensure that we have proper pathways to our houses. It's not for us to raise money and build the pathways. Is the county supposed to to have dialysis machines in the hospitals to be for our parents to go for dialysis in the hospitals? We don't have to be spending this money. So before I used to hear these business people. You're telling them, you're talking to them about politics and how it's important for them to rally behind an individual or a vision or an agenda, and then somebody says, no, but I'm a businessman, I don't want to get involved in politics. But if you don't get involved in politics, politics will get involved with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And when politics decides to get involved with you, you will not like it. It will get involved with you in terms of your pay slip.
Yeah.
It will get involved with you in terms of the VAT, in terms of
Your
the
health
taxes,
care.
in your health care. So by the time you actually figure what has happened to you, you will now you should be mobilizing people. Actually, if there is anybody, if there is any group that should be caring about the politics now more than any other, is actually the business community. Because the current the environment, economic environment, is fairly scary for people out there, where people are closing shop, banks are no longer lending, because they know if they lend you, where are you taking your money? There's no business. So essentially they're the ones who need to be even mobilizing. So the issue of mobilizing voters is not an individual's issue.
Yeah.
For me, wherever I go, I speak to people about them coming out to vote and register to vote. But even more important is for them to register to vote where they work. Because we have this notion of some people that they are needed more in the villages than actually where they live. And they go on the election day, you wake up from here, go all the way to Isiolo to vote, you spend all your money, then come back the next day, you find garbage on your doorsteps, and you're like, who brought the garbage here? You can't ask the governor, he's not your governor. You can't ask the MCA, you didn't vote for them. You can't ask the MP, you didn't vote for him. So for you to be able to hold your leaders accountable, you need to actually vote for the leaders of where you actually dwell.
So right now we're seeing Jubilee, they had their NDC just on Friday. DCP also very prominent as far as the mountain region is concerned. Are we going to see a situation whereby we have two very strong political parties in the mountain region, or what are we saying? Because now this is politics of Murima.
You know, there's a time when I was a PS of transport, I was chairing the PSs for the Northern Corridor, which was PSs across the region. And we went to Uganda to see President Museveni. We were also with President Uhuru as we were trying to push for the pipeline to move from Tanzania to come to Kenya. And I remember President Museveni told us in the Buganda, they have this proverb or saying, or this story that says that when a lion gives birth to two cubs, it does not know which of these cubs will be a hunter. It does not know which ones will be a weakling. So what the lion does is it feeds both the cubs, and when they are big enough, it will be evident which one is stronger,
survival for the fittest,
and which one will not make it. So the same for the Murima politics. I think yes, there are two cubs. Let them feed, both be fed, and at the end of the day,
let's see which one survives.
Let's see which one survives.
Interesting. We've come to the end of the show, Muhesh. But before we bounce, I've seen a couple of comments here as far as your gubernatorial ambitions are concerned. Perhaps we should invite you back here to focus on Nairobi, because so much coming in terms of questions as far as Nairobi is concerned, and we are interested to know what your vision is. But in a nutshell, in about 30 seconds, what are you looking to transform if indeed Kenyans trust you in that position?
I think, as I said before, I think the key thing for me is actually on the leadership. I'm a manager. My background, there's private sector, public sector, locally, internationally, the networks locally, internationally. So it's about the leadership, getting the right people for the job. Then it's about the vision, and the vision for me is really about the business community, because I don't believe anybody came into Nairobi to count the number of matatus passing by our roads. Everybody wants to make a living for their children and their family. So you have to support and sustain them.
Yes.
And so we have to come up with a model that actually sustains everybody. Nobody is leaving Nairobi. All of us are here to stay. Yeah.
Alright.
So for me, I'd want to fully support the business environment, business community, and also build Nairobi into a global city that it should.
Alright.
And you build it into a global city by working on the image of Nairobi, ensuring that we don't have garbage, our streets are clean, our roads are done, we don't have the potholes, our paths. We have footpaths. 68% of Kenyans walk to work. Yeah. So and then in terms, even when you look at the larger infrastructure, the mega infrastructure to decongest Nairobi, all the way from the airport itself to the BRT system that is being built, which is part of Namata, which is what I started. So that again, that infrastructure is actually what we need for Nairobi to be able to decongest it and to move Nairobi forward. And finally, is issues of health. Having been in the Ministry of Health and also chaired KEMSA, I know just how important health is to this city and also to Kenya. We have CHPs, community health providers, who are paid 3,500 shillings. And that 3,500 shillings, like yesterday is when they got the money for July. July, so August, September, no pay. July, they didn't have the pay 2 days ago. That 3,500 shillings they are paid is what they use to sustain their 100 households that they visit. Wanaenda kwa nyumba, wanapata mtu ana panado, wanamnunulia panado. Wanapiga simu kama yuko mtu akona blood pressure, kumuuliza kama alichukua dawa. You see, we need to take primary health care very seriously.
All right.
Yeah. So those are some of the key issues, but also issues of youth, issues of education. There's some of the issues that I would want to tackle in a bigger way. But over and above everything else is about the leadership.
All right. Sawa. Thank you so much, Irungu Nyekera, patron DCP in Nairobi City. Sema kwa heri.
Kwa heri.
See you tomorrow bright. No, not tomorrow. Monday, bright and early.
Asante.
Karibu sana.
It's 10:01.